Hi everybody, and welcome back to StorytellerSpira's channel with a new game for Monday nights. Vampire the Masquerade, as is a favorite around here. And this game is actually going to be taking place in Philadelphia. So for maybe some old fans, that might be a little exciting. It is kind of a different setting, though. But I will let our storyteller for the session explain all of that. This game is going to be run by the lovely Revolver C. He's run a game on
I
my
think you
channel
might be
before.
muted, Spira.
The chat can solidly hear you. We can't.
Hold on.
Oh, you're there.
Oh, there you are.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
I
Okay.
don't know what. Oh.
Okay.
Don't worry, I heard you on stream. We're good.
No, it's probably because of OBS being silly again. I just updated it, so I will have to make sure I understand its new audio policies. Anyway, all right, to make sure everyone's on board, yeah, this game will be run by the lovely Revolver C. He's run a game on my channel before, so we're all very excited to have him run another one. Revolver, if you would like to take it away and introduce your game setting and our new characters here.
Sure. Hey everyone, my name is Revolver C. I've been on StorytellerSpira's channel before. As she said, I did run a campaign, and we are now starting a brand new campaign that I'm excited to run. But first and foremost, welcome everyone. If you're watching live or on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. This is our newest Vampire the Masquerade game, Philly by Night, The Price of Blood, and I'm Revolver C, and I'll be your storyteller for this evening. But before we begin, how's everyone doing? Is everyone psyched, pumped?
Woo!
And freaking tables.
Right on. All right. Well, before we get into character introductions, I'm going to introduce the story, and then I'll be poking and prodding you guys for your character descriptions as well as your character names. So, our story begins modern day in the city of Philadelphia. The year is 2018. The city of Philly is in a state of peace. Many kindred and kind describing this year as the Evernight, a year that symbolizes the newfound peace and prosperity under the rule of Prince Victor Velmouth. Crime has been at an all-time low within the city, kindred deaths virtually zero, and the homeless have been cleaned off the streets participating in kindred programs to pay off their debts to society. However, in the underbelly of Philly, there has been a new narcotic that has been produced and manufactured, slowly peddling the streets. And while the threat of the drug is trivial at most, the kind fatalities have increased over the weeks, and just recently, the death of a kindred as well. Our night begins during the anniversary of the Evernight at a banquet, or to be more precise, the aftermath of a banquet. Bystanders and partygoers quietly discussing what had transpired earlier inside the old concert hall. And you all find yourselves, one by one, in a room that is well decorated, well lit, and well furnished. Lavish paintings occupy the room's walls, a well-crafted mahogany table with matching chairs placed in the center, and a finely sculpted statuette find their place just below the crystal chandelier hanging above them. As you all sit and wait for what is eventually about to come, the doors open behind you, and at the mouth of the room, a tall, slender man wearing a fine Italian-made suit approaches you. He circles around the table and takes a seat across from you. You notice that his eyes seem to be studying and piercing right through you. So, the man says, let's start from the beginning, shall we? Rewinding back to the beginning of the night, the banquet celebrating Madame Annabelle Bovard has just started. Many kindred and kind conversing with one another in the old concert hall. The main room itself has been outfitted to look as though it were welcoming a queen. And while the attendees weren't welcoming a queen, they were celebrating Philadelphia's finest harpy, a title only given to the most prestigious kindred within the Camarilla. Around the room, an open bar, gambling ring, and stage has been set to keep the attention of invited guests. Regal statues sculpted to match the beauty of Annabelle litter the room, while streamers, balloons, and other party decorations complement the interior. As more and more bodies fill the room, two individuals blend within the crowd. An older gentleman, along with a younger woman, and Modi and Spira, if you'd like to describe who you're playing.
Sure. I'm playing Alexander White. So describe, you go through like the physical appearance and...
Yeah, just explain who you are and what you look like.
All right. So as I said, I'm playing Alexander White. I am a violinist who's been around for over a century at this point, and
Spirit, I think your microphone's on.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yes, I'm a violinist who's been in the city of Philadelphia for the past since about the 40s, when shortly after he was first embraced in Baltimore. I moved up to Philly to get away from my overbearing and very manipulative sire, cutting all old ties and basically finding a new life inside of the city. Since here, I've worked very closely with the former prince of the city, building a name and reputation for myself, setting up both within the kindred and within the kind and the music industry, where I run a dance and music studio. Always been incredibly driven, and that's led me to very early on for a kindred having to sought out the prince and ask for the permission to embrace, which has been given to me. So in about the mid-70s, I found a particular woman who caught my eye, and went ahead and embraced her. But I'll let her introduce herself. And so in appearance, as you can see on the screen, older gentleman about his 50s, very typically well-dressed, despite not being very well-groomed. He's always clean, but typical absorbed musician is longer salt and pepper hair that's scraggly and not very well clean, but not very well combed, and a very short beard. And if he's not particularly talking to somebody entertaining, it always seems like he has a distant look in his eyes, like he's in 1,000 different places inside of his head. But
All right, and Spira, who are you playing as?
Здравствуйте. My name is Nika
I think you did
Vasilyev.
again.
Can you hear me?
Curse you, OBS!
Can you hear me? How about now? Okay.
Yeah.
That is really weird. I had to click Discord and then click OBS again. I'll figure this out. I don't know why OBS changed everything just from an update. It's supposed to fix things, isn't it? Anyway. Здравствуйте. My name is Nika Vasilyev. My family is originally from St. Petersburg, but I've been in America for quite some time. My sire, Alexander, was impressed by my skills on the violin and eventually offered me the embrace. I couldn't turn down such a unique opportunity. Since then, I have pledged my loyalty to my sire and to my art.
Perfect. So yes, you two are one of the few to first arrive at the banquet. Bodies are starting to fill in. Again, you see the surroundings around you, and I'll let you two take it away. If you wanted to converse or...
Sorry, I was trying to get Angbot set up again. I'm so bad at remembering that one, I don't know why.
So I guess we're just arriving at this point to the party.
Yeah, so you have arrived at the banquet of Madame Annabelle Bouvard, who is one of the harpies of the city. And as I said, people are starting to fill the room. You have been personally invited by someone. And yeah, you have your invitation in hand and everything.
Did we arrive together, or...?
Yeah, you arrived together.
Okay.
So I guess we're going to enter, always going to be a more traditional type where I would, if you would accept, I would have my arm out and, escorting you into the hall. And from there, my very first place to visit, after being announced or whatever, is seek out, of course, Madame Annabelle, very first thing to congratulate her on her successful career and whatnot.
Right, as you glance about the room, you actually don't see Annabelle. right now. Knowing her personality, she does like to make an appearance. She likes to be the center stage, so to say.
Then the next person of interest would be, of course, the prince himself. And is he around at this point?
Right. So as you two enter the banquet, you arm in arm, you maybe make slow, like small talk conversation. You do see a tall, standing about 6'2", thin-built, short brown, Julius Caesar type hair, wearing a fine gray Italian suit with a red tie, little tiny spots on the tie, and he looks to be mid-40s before his embrace. And he is speaking with an average height, standing about 5'10", a little more built than the prince, but overall still thin. His face is pretty intense, sharp, studious as he seems to glance around the room, studying new faces. He has short brown hair, styled, a little longer than the prince, but he's wearing a black Italian-made suit with a black tie, and the two seem to be conversing. And as you two approach, the prince seems to notice you. His face lights up, his arms open wide. He says, "Alexander White, as I live and breathe."
Peter, it's wonderful to meet you tonight. How are you doing?
And he'll approach you. He gives the, Italian peck on the cheeks, not actually kissing your cheek, but, just the formal greeting of a close friend to a close friend. And he says, "I'm well. Thank you for attending the banquet. I was afraid you wouldn't be able to attend." And he turns his head over to Nika, and he says, "Bellissimo. Nika, how have you been?" And again, gives the courteous peck on the cheeks, not actually kissing the cheek, but formal Italian greeting.
Dobre vector. Good to see you, Peter.
I hope you've been keeping Alexander out of trouble, Nika.
As best as I can.
And you see the sheriff, Peter. He seems to be trailing behind the prince. He gives a curt nod, smile, kind of waves his hand and says, "Alexander."
It's a pleasure to see you tonight.
Yes, well, I'm not entirely... I'm not a party person, so to say. I'm here because I have to be. And he takes a big swig of like a little martini glass that he seems to be holding.
One of these days, of course, but one of these days you might just find a party that you do like, and I encourage you to take the opportunity when you can.
Well, it'll be a cold day in hell until that happens, and takes another drink. And he says, "If you'll excuse me, Prince, I need to survey the area." And the two gentlemen nod to each other, and the prince now then turns to you, Alexander, and says, "What have you been up to, friend? Tell me, one of your expeditures, your journeys."
Well, other than looking into a new band that I have been interested in, something in the local area, not to bore you with the details, but several new projects going on that I think are going to be incredibly interesting. Definitely revolutionizing something. I'm not quite sure what, but we'll see. But no, I've just been keeping busy doing this, the things I do. How yourself? How have you been? I'm sure with everything going on, I mean, it's been an eventful few years, so...
Oh, I don't want to bore you with the details. Being prince is not as all as it seems to be, unfortunately. But Nika, you still play the violin, yes?
That's all I do.
Yes, right. And as you guys are, again, making light conversation, a woman, short individual, 5'4", with a pixie haircut, dyed black. She's wearing a fine-made suit with the sleeves rolled up, exposing tattoos that cover her entire sleeve. And on her knuckles, she has the 4 card suits, clover, spades, hearts, diamonds, things like that. And she approaches the group, and she looks to Alexander, Nika, and the prince. She gives a, curt nod to the prince, and will say to Alexander, "Invitation."
Pause for a moment, almost just confused that he would ever be asked such a question. "Oh, yes, of course. Excuse me." Reaches into his coat pocket and hands over the invitation.
She unfolds the paper, looking kind of you in the eye. You recognize her as Sybil. She's the keeper of the Elysium. That is looking to, make sure that nothing happens at the party. And as she's reading the invitation, she looks at you, down back at the paper, looks at Nika, back down at the paper, and says, "Okay, Alexander, here you go." And she has in her hand a bunch of red wristbands, and she says, "Wrists, please."
I'll
I
fetch
haven't-
mine.
Okay. And she will tie like a wristband. It's one of those, you go to the fair or like a concert, as a red wristband. She says, "Well, enjoy the banquet. Try not to have too much fun."
As soon as she walks away, I'll turn back to the prince. Is all of this strictly necessary? I mean, especially with certain individuals here.
The prince. Yeah, the prince gives an exasperated sigh. He's, "Well, Sybil is thorough, and she's very good at your job. Necessary, not likely, but I don't argue with her anymore. She always gets her way."
And I'll turn to Nika and just sighing heavily. These things always have such a way of itching after a few minutes. Ugh.
The prince will laugh at that joke. He says, "Well, hopefully you won't be wearing that for too much longer." And as the night kind of progresses, making small talk, "Nika, I hate to be a bother, but Alexander and I have business to discuss. Will you grab us a drink at the bar real quick?"
Of course. And I'll head off to go get a drink.
Mille grazie. Which means thank you in Italian. And so he will kind of slide closer to Alexander now. It's just the two of them. Says, "So, Alexander, I hope the music's going. You said the music's going well. And with you being such a prestigious kindred within the city, I hope I can speak curtly with you."
Always. I would expect nothing less. Or nothing else.
Yeah, perfect. And so I wanted to discuss, as he gets cut off mid-sentence, other partygoers seem to be approaching you both, seeming the prince is alone, and they seem to extend their hellos, their greetings to the prince, and he says, "Oh, thank you, yes, I'm with a friend right now." And as he keeps trying to make conversation, more and more guests seem to be approaching, and you can see the slight annoyance on his face as he's desperately trying to discuss business. And from there, Spira, you'll brush past a gentleman with woman in arm, making your way to the open bar, and that is where Zabani, if you would like to explain who you're playing, who you are.
Your timing couldn't be better.
The timing couldn't have been better.
Hello, name's Oram, Nosferatu. On a day over 100 and don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Used to be a grifter way back when, till my sire came telling me I could have any face I wanted, on a whim. And all it would cost me would be an ugly. Imagine his surprise when I came to him with this beautiful mug. So, here I've been ever since, wandering around, pulling cons, enjoying my own life. Sure, I've done pissed a few nobles off, but that's the price I'm willing to pay. Latest town I come to is Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, they say. What the
Ignore that.
Modi.
I know.
How long till I piss off the prince here? Yeah, I am a Nosferatu. Kind of look like basically every other Nosferatu, though I do keep the bits of flesh trimmed nicely at the very least. Try and look clean even if I'm hideous. Probably wearing some decent clothes this time. Not wearing the. Oh wow! Congratulations on the promotion, Modi. Yeah, wearing decent, like an actual suit this time, much at Benedict's insistence. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, you are currently in disguise, masked 1,000 faces, as there are kind amongst the party.
Okay.
So, what would your disguise?
And that's what that role was at the beginning.
Yes.
Striking woman in red.
Oh, you're a woman? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And to your right, you are accompanied by another Nosferatu by the name of O'Connell. She is also masked. She seems to be a little embarrassed as she's holding arms with another woman. Not that she's against it, just she was expecting something more. But you can see on her face that she's a bit awestruck at being at this banquet. She doesn't really get out too much, and this is definitely the most political party that she's ever been to. And yeah, she'll kind of look at you up and down and say, "Really?
I don't see what the problem is.
She'll give a exact side. Well, and she'll. What kind of dress are you wearing, by the way?
Like Matrix red dress, like nice wavy blonde hair.
Spaghetti strap or?
Oh
just
yeah.
Okay.
No, it's nice and elegant. It's a one shoulder number.
Okay. And she'll turn to face you, her back towards other patrons that are attending the banquet, and she'll kind of smooth out your dress, and she'll just say, "Listen, I don't care what you wear or anything, just don't fuck this up for me, please. I don't get to go out much." And she kind of like touches you by the face, like very, very softly, and she says, "Good." And as you two are talking, Sybil, the pixie cut hair woman from before, she will approach you two and say, "Invitations?"
I will look at O'Connell.
Yes, of course. And she'll unbutton her little handbag that she has carrying with her and give the folded paper to Sybil, in which she'll unfold it and look down, look up, and you hear Sybil say, "This is for Benedict." Which one of you is Benedict?
I will wave silently.
Okay. She begins to study your face a little bit, and she says, "Where's the eye patch? Usually you have a eye patch."
I figured I'd mix things up a little bit today.
Roll a manipulation subterfuge 8.
So bad at that roll.
For a con man, you're bad at lying?
That was the most sarcastic thing I could possibly have said. Versus what?
Difficulty 8. I took 2 off because you do have a enchanting voice. All right, so 0. So as you begin to open your mouth, about to express, your excuse, you feel a sharp jab to your side as O'Connell elbows you into the side, and she says, "Sorry, ignore him. He's an idiot. This is Hiram. He is here in Benedict's stay. Benedict could not be able to attend. He had very important things to discuss." And Sybil, looking slightly perturbed, but ultimately she just gives a shrug and says, "Arms out." And she'll tie a red wristband around your wrists, you and O'Connell. Says, "Look, it doesn't matter to me. One Nosferatu is the same as another. It's, as long as one is here, I suppose."
I'm gonna put my hand on my chest, a little offended.
She gives a chuckle. She definitely shows some interest in your demeanor, and will walk away, and you can see her heading towards Peter, the sheriff, and she begins to mutter something and point towards you guys, and Peter takes note and kind of gives a wave. And as she leaves, O'Connell will kind of sigh and say, "Just stay here. I'm going to grab us some drinks. Just don't move."
All right.
So as she walks away, you hear the echoing of her high heels approaching to the bar. You see, much to your surprise, you see a familiar face within the crowds of people. Now it seems that more and more bodies begin to fill this concert hall. Most of the attendees that have been invited seem to be here already. And when you see that face, Articus, would you like to describe who you are playing and who are you?
Yeah, I play Brian Evans. He's a Bruja. Best way to describe him is kind of like a gray hat breaker. He skirts the technology laws and everything. Used to be a Boeing B-17, during technician during the World War II and everything. Flew around, Germany and everything, but nowadays he doesn't really like the U.S. government, doesn't like the whole thing, hates the fringe, stays on the fringe with the lies and secrecy, kind of a rabble-rouser himself, and that's kind of how he got himself into the unlife as a kindred. Now, with his latest technology farms and his bitcoins and everything that he's been mining, the Evernight's been kind of nice, except it's totally boring. Wonder if this drug trade's going to do anything fun.
Right. And you see Brian speaking with another kindred individual. Elvish Dame, if you'd like to describe who you're playing as, what you look like.
Sure, yeah. Okay, so I am playing Chelsea Davis. She is a short, thin woman with like kind of a mop of curly brown hair. She is just most of the time all smiles and very happy to see people, and she is a Malkavian. She's originally actually from Florida, and she was friends with Annabelle, who is this banquet is honoring tonight. Annabelle helped her out of a jam when she ended up owing money to basically a Camarilla loan shark, and so she's been friends with her ever since, but she hasn't super kept in touch with her recently. She's only come to Philly very recently, as basically she had an opportunity to kind of travel around, and she wanted to go see the city where her friend had been doing so well, but she didn't really get a chance to talk to her until tonight when she got an invitation, so she's very eager to be here.
Perfect. All right. So, Hiram, you do see Brian, a familiar face, speaking with another individual you don't recognize, but it seems that they were also at the banquet.
What's O'Connell doing?
She is currently walking towards that open bar that I described earlier.
Okay, I will give, I'll basically give her a second before I approach them. I'm not going to try and actively be a douchebag. I want her to see where I'm headed before I disappear.
Okay, so you wait there a couple minutes. You do get the flirtatious conversations of other partygoers, like a stud of a guy saying, "Hey, you by yourself?"
Oh no, I'm here with my girlfriend.
Oh, well, me and the guys over here, we're kind of a big deal if you want to. And he kind of extends his arm out.
Oh, honey, you're cute. Not in a million years.
With an offended, kind of hurt look on his face, he will saunter away, kind of looking back like a wounded puppy, so to say. And as you see O'Connell now, she seems to be kind of squeezing her way through. It seems patrons are cutting in front of her. She is a little bit more timid, and she kind of looks back at you, kind of like, "I'm getting a drink."
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of wave at her and point over in the direction that I'm walking, so she knows I'm not disappearing intentionally.
Okay. She'll kind of, no, stay there.
I will give an exaggerated sigh, but I won't go anywhere.
Okay. So as you two are kind of playing charades a little bit, Brian and Chelsea, you are kind of just making small conversations. It's been a little while since you've seen each other.
Actually, my character is actually kind of getting a little loud and getting a little upset.
Okay, yeah, if you want to.
Absolutely. Fucking Shell, the only reason I'm fucking here is because of that fucking bitch. I didn't even want to be here. There's all these people here.
Please just can you please just do this? It's not that big of a deal. Just show up, just have a couple of drinks, and then you can go. I'm here to see my friend.
Hey, by the way, thanks for coming with me.
Yeah.
If I see her, I don't know what'll...
I used to be friends with her. She helped me out of a jam once. I really wanted just to catch up with her, all right? Thank you for coming.
Yeah. Fucking Shane. Fucking bitch. There you go.
All right, and yeah, as you two making a little bit of a ruckus, Chelsea playing to the sympathetic card of, calm down. You do see a smaller woman standing about 5'3", wearing heels, elevating her height a little bit, looking to be slight of Asian descent with long, beautiful brown hair, curled and styled. She's wearing a red dress that ties around her neck and that exposes her back. She looks to be carrying a small, Fujifilm Polaroid camera with her, and you know this to be Annabelle Beauvais. and she sees Chelsea and says, "Darling, Chelsea!" And she,
Annabelle!
like very exaggeratedly, like running with high heels, she gives the smallest steps necessary, but to echo her high heels so that people will notice her. And she gives you a great big hug and a kiss on the cheek, and will extend her arms out and kind of study your face.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm exhausted, but I'm doing so well. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sorry that I haven't been available. I got in your text and I wasn't able to reply back. And by the time and she just continues to ramble on and on.
Oh no, that's okay. That's all right. You're the army now. That makes sense. That's very much that makes sense.
Oh, darling. Oh, it's so good to see you. And she'll kind of peer across, like, behind you and see Brian standing there. It's like, who's your cute friend there?
Stream up.
Oh, Brian, how's it going?
Oh.
Oh, did we look? Oh, no, straight.
Okay, no, it's working. I'm sorry. It like crashed for a second for me.
No, it went out for a second for me too.
Oh, there goes
Looks
again.
good.
And as you introduce yourself, Brian, she will... Oh, no. It says offline for me.
Yeah, it's offline for me.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Holy fucking shit. OBS!
No, OBS is fine. It's gotta be Twitch.
Twitch?
Yeah.
Or, and hear me out on this, it's Koznark. Oh, hi. We're back, I think.
There it is.
Yay.
All right. So, if you
Oh, yeah,
guys...
this is Brian.
Yeah, if you guys missed the past couple of seconds, Annabelle recognized Chelsea, ran to her, gave her a hug, asked how she was doing, exchanged small pleasantries, and asked who the individual was that Chelsea was with.
How's it going? Brian, you're Annabelle, right?
Yes, and that is me. And she kind of gives a hand, kind of like that, for you to kiss the top of.
Oh gosh, I have no etiquette.
Kiss her
He-
hand. Kiss
What?
her
Oh.
hand.
Alright, yeah. And he does the kiss the hand a little awkwardly. Just like,
Yeah.
okay, you're supposed to, gotcha.
Yeah, you kind of place your lips a little too long on there, maybe a little too wet, and she's charmed. Well, Brian, Chelsea, thank you so much for coming again to, honor me. And how do you like it? How do you like the venue?
Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. But anything you do is always beautiful.
Oh, darling, you are simply beautiful. Can I take your picture, please? And
Brian's
kind of,
slowly
yeah,
disappearing as much as he can.
yeah. And she'll take her Fujifilm little Polaroid camera and says, like, smile. She'll click. She'll give a click, and a little tiny Polaroid picture prints out, and it's not quite developed yet. She starts shaking it with her hand and says, so, tell me, Chelsea, what have you been doing these past years?
Traveling around, ended up here trying to meet up with you because I heard you were doing pretty good. And just I've been teaching a lot of night classes. I teach a lot of creative writing classes, and I do some volunteer work and stuff. Keep myself busy.
Oh, Chelsea, I never knew you were such a humanitarian. Oh.
Thanks.
And as you three are conversing, Sybil will approach the three of you. She's very blank-faced. She'll look at the three, kind of eyeing you all. And invitations.
Oh, here. She kind of fishes in her purse and hands it to her.
And as you hand the invitation to Sybil, Annabelle's like, please, Sybil, is this really necessary? She is my honored guest. And Sybil will look at Annabelle, very perturbed, and she'll say, yes, it's necessary. And she'll unfold the paper. Chelsea, yes, here you are, Chelsea. Hand out, please. Okay, and she'll wrap a red wristband around your wrist, and she'll then look to Brian. Invitation, please.
Yeah, sure. Here.
And as she unfolds it, she looks down, looks back at you. All right, Shane, wrist, please.
Sure thing.
And she will wrap a wristband around your wrist as well. She says, thank you, enjoy the party, and, don't bother me. And she'll kind of walk away. And you see her doing this to a number of patrons that enter. Only certain ones, though. It doesn't seem like, if you were to look around the room, a lot of guests actually are not wearing the wristbands, but there are one or two in the crowd that seem to be wearing these wristbands.
Does this get us a drink?
Oh, and Annabelle will, oh, please, all drinks are free here, Brian. No, this is to identify kindred within the party. It's no big deal, really.
Huh. And instantly in his head, he's going, and now I'm paranoid. Great!
Right. Kind of the conspiracy theory going on.
Like, shit.
Yeah, and Annabelle will then face Brian. So, Brian, what do you do here? And she'll kind of, with her finger, she has a stemmed glass in hand, she'll kind of, with her fingertip, trace the outer edges of the glass.
Oh, Bitcoin mining?
I'm sorry, what?
Basically you make money doing nothing.
Oh, that's very interesting, yes. Chelsea, hi, yes. And she'll, again, as you three are making light conversation, Annabelle seems very uninterested in Brian. But Brian, you do see, as you're kind of just standing there listening to the two ladies talk.
Oh, I'm looking around.
Yes, you do see a mousy girl, glasses, straight brown hair. She kind of looks like she doesn't get out too much, as her makeup is a little botched on. She's wearing a simple dark blue spaghetti strap dress, and she's leaning against the open bar looking around like someone who just got stood up by their date. You would recognize this individual as Valerie Wilcox.
Yeah, I'm just not going to even give her eye contact. I'm just going to look away from her completely.
Okay, are you going to try to be sneaky about it, like kind of hide in plain sight, or?
Oh, no, I'm terrible at it. I'm just straight out, like, if she sees me, I'm just like, nope.
Okay. All right, so yeah, as the three of you are talking, Chelsea and Annabelle seem to be talking, and Annabelle will say, oh, well, I've been 20 years as a harpy. That's quite a feat for, ever since the coup happened. Many kindred of our stature did not keep our titles, unfortunately, but here I am, and I opened up a new fashion line called Beau. Oh, it's doing wonderfully. It's flourishing within Philadelphia. It's going to go international soon. I left that little hole in the wall, Belmont. Do you remember Belmont, the little place I had in Belmont, Chelsea?
Oh my goodness, I do. Yeah.
Yes, in Western Philly. Yes. Oh, well, now I'm living in the Strawberry Mansion district in Philadelphia, more to the center, so I can keep an eye on my finances and whatnot.
Color me impressed. You've been doing real well.
Yes, where are you residing nowadays?
Oh, downtown. I got a little apartment place there. Being a teacher doesn't super pay well, but that's okay.
Oh, Charlie, you have to work for me. I can have you managing stores in no time, and you'll move out of downtown.
Well, maybe. I mean, I like teaching.
Oh, I mean, teaching is such a niche profession. Do you enjoy it? I mean, you don't make much money.
No, but I mean, it really doesn't super matter because we already kind of, keep living forever, so it's not a big deal. It's not like I'm gonna get hungry or anything like that. Don't need to buy food and stuff.
Oh, Chelsea, you're such a doll. Come here, give me a hug again. And she'll kind of give us like a as she like squeezes you.
And Brian slowly moving
Just
himself
leaves.
away.
Yeah, go ahead and for shits and giggles make a wits and stealth check.
It's stealth, gotcha.
Got it.
Yeah, difficulty 6.
Uh, 2.
So 2, yeah. If you want to explode that, you can.
2.
All right. So with a 2, you are actually you are kind of surprised how well it's easy to separate from these two. And Valerie doesn't seem to be any of the wiser, noticing that your presence even. She just seems to be at the bar, kind of pounding down these drinks, looking for who you suspect to be Shane.
I'll go talk to her.
So reluctantly, you approach the bar. Valerie's still kind of looking around. She meets eye contact with you, and you can see she is rolling her eyes a little bit like,
Sup, V?
Brian, I'm assuming Shane's not making it tonight.
Serve it.
God damn it, Shane. And she'll start to mutter under her breath, just profanities and, well, he sent you then?
Unfortunately.
Yes, well, he was supposed to help me with funding my project, but I don't want to bother you with such,
The blood shit?
Yes, the blood shit.
What's it officially called?
The two narcotics that are peddling out through the streets, the blood of Kine and the blood of Cain. Look, I know you're not interested in this. I'll tell Shane that you've helped me out, and you can just enjoy the banquet or whatever.
Screw it. I've already been marked. Try me.
And she'll also raise up her wrist.
I already been marked.
Yeah, she'll raise up her wrist as well. Like, yeah, it's party favors. I'm imagining. You want a drink or anything?
Sure.
And she'll flag down the bartender, who at the time is actually speaking to Nika, who you have just arrived at the bar. You are requesting how many drinks?
There's blood drinks, I assume, right?
Yeah,
Bloody Marys.
Because you have the wristband on, the bartender's like, okay, so you need a special drink.
So you get your drinks.
It was just Alexander and the prince talking when I walked
I
in.
can't hear you, Spira.
It was
It's
the
fun.
prince.
This is the opposite problem than we used to have.
I know.
Now we can't hear her, they
Shut up.
can.
Anyway, it was just Alexander and the
Shut
prince
up,
talking, right?
I still can't hear you, Spira.
What the fuck?
What?
What the fuck?
It's funny watching the...
Can you
Hey,
hear me
It's
now?
progress. I don't know if it's positive progress, but it's progress.
Is that any better?
Nope.
So,
Well, as Spira is fixing the mic. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't
As
make
you said
any
it.
fucking sense. Anyway, is it Alexander and just the prince when I walked off?
Yeah, it was just those two, and the prince asked that if you can grab those two a drink.
Okay. Then no to the bartender. 3 drinks, please.
And the bartender will give a curt nod, and you see him pull out like a wine bottle and start pouring into the little stemmed martini glasses. Are you going to be carrying all these 3 drinks by yourself?
Da.
Okay. I would like you to do an alertness check. Just alertness, difficulty 6. Okay, so as you are you have a good hold on these 3 glasses, you turn around, and just as you turn around, you almost run into someone. You're like, whoa, and a bit of the blood martini spills on this individual's shirt.
That's Fuck. That's, what?
And you hear, oh, God damn it, I shouldn't have worn white. And as you look up, you see a younger individual in his early 20s. He has long, wavy, sand blonde hair that is parted down the middle, stands at about shy of 6 foot, wearing a white dress shirt with an unbuttoned black vest over it. And you know this individual to be Alan Monroe, or Griffin, as he likes to be called.
You should watch where you're going.
And he'll kind of stare down at his, his now bloodied shirt and look at you. And, oh, Nika, I didn't realize it was you.
Evening, Griffin.
Yeah, how have you been? I haven't talked to you since, the thing.
Oh, you know me. I like to lock myself away and practice until my fingers bleed, and then heal them and start all over again.
Yeah, yeah, you were a really good violinist.
Thank you.
You here with Alexander?
Of course. He's speaking with the prince.
Oh, and as you look to see where Alexander and the prince were, you see them not there, as where you left them.
Well, he was.
Yeah, he's kind of a shitbag like that. He kind of mutters under his breath.
Well, how have you been?
I've been great, I got a job and working, got this nice loft in the middle of central Philly, and yeah, how about you? What are you still doing the music thing, or?
As I mentioned. Yes. What do you think of the party? And, Annabelle, and it's quite a long ride for a harpy.
Yeah. I'm just here for a job. I'm probably, I was headed on my way out, and he'll try to look at the bar for like napkins to kind of rub out the.
Come here, and I'm gonna lead him closer to the bar and grab the bartender's attention. Club soda, please.
And he'll nod, club soda, right in front of you.
Okay. So I take some napkins and start trying to get as much of it out as I can for him.
Thanks. Man, guess don't wear white to a kindred party, right?
Maybe not the best plan.
And as you two are kind of catching up on last time, he will, he's scrubbing the blood on his shirt. Do you want to go somewhere? Catch up, kind of,
Well, seeing as I'm all alone otherwise, of course. And I'll snake my arm under his.
All right. And he will actually lead you to a balcony area that's outside, fresh air. Do you still smoke, or wait, was it you that smoked?
No, not me.
Oh, right. Sorry, must have been the other violinist I knew.
Not a problem. Feel free to indulge yourself.
And as you two are outside, he begins to light up a cigarette, and going back to Hiram, sorry. You two you're waiting for O'Connell. She seems to be juggling these two little martini glasses as she goes towards you and say, thanks, Hiram, I thought you would run off.
Oh, it's not a problem.
And she'll hand you a stemmed glass.
Yeah, I will take it.
Okay. It's made for kindred blood infused alcohol. So it's very tasty. It's actually very high quality. And you do see Brian, he was kind of or actually do a perception alertness for me.
Oh,
Just to
that's
see
me.
if no, for Hiram, just to see if he noticed you go into the bar.
Versus 6?
6. Yeah, if I don't state it, just assume it's 6.
3.
Yeah, you definitely see you have a pretty good eye on him. He seems to be talking to, his friend, and then you see Annabelle kind of go into the picture, and then he just kind of slink off to the bar talking to this individual that's wearing glasses, very messy hair, makeup, again, botched a little bit.
Yeah.
Definitely not used, someone that's not used to dolling up. And O'Connell will, want to gamble? I'm pretty good at poker.
Oh, I'd love to. I didn't realize they had gambling here.
And she'll kind of take you by the arm again, drag you over to the gambling ring that's been set up.
Oh, poor puppies.
Yeah, I think your microphone's on, Spira.
Hold on.
No problem.
They're the saddest puppies.
Yeah. So she'll take you to the gambling ring, and they have various games. They have craps, poker. They have some variation of liar's dice, it seems.
I'll point at the Texas Hold'em table. It's easy. Everybody knows it. It's about reading people. It's all on me.
Yeah. So, how much are you putting in the pot, so to say?
What are the stakes?
It seems to be there's tables that are for fun, $1 hand or $1 pot minimum, and then there seems to be like the higher end stakes of like $10 to $25.
I'll go to one of the higher ends if that's what the higher end is.
Okay. So you go to the higher end. Go ahead and roll me a or expression, like charisma or a perception expression, because you are reading the faces of individuals that are playing rather than with the dice.
Oh my god! Oh my god! What is that?
You don't botch. However, you do lose quite a sum of money. And O'Connell seems to laugh at your expense. Boy, I thought I was bad at poker.
Oh, he was full of shit. He lucked out. He didn't have the hand that he thought he had.
And she'll pat your shoulder like, of course he is, yeah. So while that's going on, jumping back over to Alexander, the prince actually dragged you upstairs to one of the more private VIP rooms in this concert hall to tear himself away from the overwhelming crowd that seems to, give their greetings, and he just really wants to speak frank with you.
Well, finally a little bit of quiet.
Yes, sorry. It's this whole prince bullshit, so much easier when it was just, another kindred.
And that's precisely why I let you take the job and didn't seek it myself.
Well, that's very admirable of you, Alexander. You always were very, very front with me, and I appreciated that. And you go into this room, very well decorated. There seems to be a mahogany desk as well as like a mini bar that seems to be stationed. This is definitely a room where the prince would go away from all the other partygoers. And he makes his way to the little mini bar and says, "Care for a drink, Alexander, for good old times? Good old times."
You know me. Have I ever said no?
Of course not. And he'll pour you a drink, hand it to you very, very delicately, and then he'll kind of lift up as a cheers and drink down. Say, well, Alexander, as nice as that is catching up and hearing that you are doing well, I do have business to discuss with you.
Naturally, I figured something was going on if you were so pressed to have this conversation.
Yes, well, the unfortunate events with Jonathan Morrow, the last seneschal of the city, and how he sold out the Camarilla, so to say.
Of course.
And ever since his execution, we have yet to find another seneschal for the city. And, well, discussing with the other primogens, as well as Peter, they all decided that you would make a perfect fit for Philadelphia's seneschal if you chose to accept the position.
Wow, that is a... Don't get me wrong, I appreciate the honor.
And he'll cut you off there. And now you don't have to decide yet, Alexander. Of course, it's a big decision for you, and I wouldn't want to ruin a good time at the party. You know, enjoy the festivities that we have and, you know, Annabelle's antics. But I would like to hear an answer before tomorrow night.
Of course. Let me sleep on the matter and I can get back to you first thing tomorrow.
Yes, of course, friend. I wouldn't want to overwhelm you with such a decision. And he will kind of run over to the desk, get a pad of paper, and write down something, and hands you a piece of paper with his address as well as phone number. This is my personal loft. You can, let's say, 10 o'clock tomorrow. We can discuss this further.
That sounds perfect.
Thank you, Alexander. I hope you don't make the wrong decision. And you can actually, even without rolling an etiquette or a charisma, you can tell that there is a little tinge of a threat in there.
Well, I can guarantee you I will not be making the wrong decision.
Perfect, Alexander. Now, shall we enjoy the banquet?
Absolutely. And Alex, I'll go ahead and get up, walk to the bar, and just help myself to another, help myself to the bottle, pour myself another glass, and make my way back out.
Yeah, and as you make your way to the bar, you go ahead and roll a perception alertness.
Okay. Oh god, new character, what are my stats?
Bless you.
That is not a botch. However,
Got a
you
success.
did get a 1.
One
Yeah.
success.
You notice that Nika is not within the concert hall. You don't know where she is.
So upon not seeing Nika in the concert hall, I am going to go ahead and, using Auspex, going to send her a message of just a man walking into a house. Kind of, they would have built up enough of a communication to know that is, I've returned.
Okay. Go ahead and roll
Absolutely.
intelligence plus subterfuge against her willpower, which would be 6. Sorry.
It's 6, but I'm also open to him sending me messages.
Yeah, but even with that,
Yeah, further away, yeah.
you get a
My
flash
brain's
of a
locked
picture
up.
of him. Yeah, even if you are willing or not. And you would have to spend a willpower for that as well, Mr. Alexander.
To communicate, I thought it was a willpower to influence.
Oh, yeah, sorry. You are correct on that. So yeah,
But I
you
got 3
again,
successes.
flash of an image. You see a man returning home.
So I'm still talking with Griffin, but I get the message and kind of just nod to myself. I don't know if he can see me from where he is, but that's just how I kind of respond.
He doesn't seem to pay any attention to it. So, Nika, you are outside. Griffin is smoking a cigarette. You notice that now that he seems to be a little bit more open, he's kind of unbuttoning his dress shirt a little bit, to air out the liquids. And you do see a copper Griffin necklace around his neck that he's very famous for wearing. You've never seen him without it.
So, Griffin, do you mind if I ask you something perhaps a little more personal?
Yeah, what?
I point a finger at the pendant. Why are you always wearing that?
He gives a long drag, and he'll blow out the smoke, and he gives a little bit of a solemn look to you, and Jonathan gave this to me.
You're a sire?
Well, was my sire, yes.
I remember hearing about him, but I've never met him.
Yeah, I mean, he was like a father to me, and well, we really shouldn't be talking about this here, but hey, again, I got some good work if you're interested in maybe another job or something, or if you want to catch up.
Playing violin or what?
Yeah, playing violin.
Well, tell me more about this job.
And he'll grab your hand and he'll kind of look around and ask another invited guest, like, hey, do you have a pen? And he'll write on your, like, the palm of your hand, like, his phone number.
About that, but I don't stop him.
Yeah. He's like, hey, well, here's my number. We'll meet up tomorrow night, and talk about it more.
Yes, that sounds good.
Okay. And he seems to be very enlightened, like very ecstatic that you seem to be talking to him. You notice a slight, kind of like a friend missing an old friend. Okay.
Is everything all right, Griffin?
As well as it could be, I guess. And he'll smoke again and throw the cigarette on the ground, stomp it down so it doesn't, And yeah, so jumping back.
Real quick, just before that, then I was gonna, like, whatever hand he was using to, like, hold mine and write on, I give it, like, a just quick little squeeze. Well, we can talk tomorrow night.
Yeah, of course. I actually got to get going. Like I said, I was just here on a job, and well, I did what I was here to do. So
that's all.
All right. So yeah, jumping back over to Chelsea, you're still with Annabelle. You're talking about, just this and that, catching up on old times, and you notice that her assistant, Julie, comes sauntering about. She has like a clipboard in her hand, glasses, very timid looking, like a basic ponytail, brown hair. She smiles at both of you, says, Madame Bavard, we have a guest that have an appointment with a guest. And Annabelle will say, Jules, dear, I'm catching up with an old friend here. Do you mind? That individual can wait. And she says, Chelsea, hire good help if you need it. Don't hire Jules. And Julie looks very, very hurt about this. But nevertheless, they will, continue on. Brian, you were speaking with Valerie, and Valerie told you about the drug and how she is looking to fund her project with these political figures within the Banquet. And she looking around the room, she stops dead center on Annabelle, who is talking with Chelsea still, and another figure that came in. And she says, oh God, okay, Brian, you're sure you want to help with this?
Well, I'm gonna help you by, let me get a good friend real quick.
Sorry, what'd you? Okay.
Let me go get a friend real quick. I'm gonna go find Chell.
Okay, and she is still standing with Annabelle. You approach her easily.
Never mind, then approach, yeah.
Okay, so the both of you approach Annabelle and Chelsea. Chelsea, you notice Brian with another woman. Glasses, basic hair. She's, again, not someone that looks like she's looking like she goes out very much. She's very studious looking.
Oh, let's see. Chill, this is Val. You know, the one you know so much about. Just does the little... It's the one he always yells about.
The one that he calls.
Yeah, that he was cursing it earlier.
Hi.
Valerie will kind of nod towards you, Chelsea, but she seems very fixated, very nervous when she's approaching Annabelle.
She's got a mutual friend. We got a mutual friend, Shane, and really could use your support, if you know what I mean.
And Valerie will, yes, hi, Annabelle, Chelsea. I was just hoping that maybe you could arrange an audience with the prince for me. You see, I got this project about the drug, and mid-sentence, Annabelle's like, I'm sorry, who are you? And, Valerie. Valerie, yes, well, you see, this is not a time or place for business, and even then, the drugs, they're just hearsay, they're rumors, really. And Valerie, looking down at the ground, very defeated looking, she, well, you see, Miss Bovar, it is not a rumor. There's been many deaths of humans, and even recently there was, and she'll cut off again, and Annabelle will be like, listen, darling, if the scabs of the city wish to rip themselves from this earth, well, let them. The city may bleed a little, but all wounds heal over time. And Valerie, with a little bit more conviction in her expression, will say, what about the kindred death recently? And Annabelle will kind of give a hearty chuckle, like, oh dear. As I recall, Mr. Malfort, the kindred that was presumed dead, was your assistant in this passion project of yours. Perhaps it was not the drug, but your persistent ambition that was the cause of his death.
Stop it, Annabelle.
Oh, Chelsea. Please, don't listen to the ramblings of the intellectuals. They're all insane.
But, I'm a teacher too.
Oh, Todd, you know what I mean. And she'll kind of pat you on the shoulder and, now, darling, come on. We must be on our way. Brian, Valerie, enjoy the party.
Yeah, no problem.
And unless you have any objection, Chelsea, she'll just kind of drag you by the arm and kind of whisper in your ear like, oh, she's just simply crazy. Don't listen to her.
Why do you think she's crazy? I mean, I hear complaints sometimes, but...
Oh, dear. I mean, she's so ambitious. She's so blinded by her little passion project. Whenever she sets her sights on something, she just can't stop, and she'll throw whoever she needs to under that bus, you know?
Hey, that worked out pretty well.
Valerie looks incredibly infuriated. You notice that the stemmed glass that she was holding, she crushes with her hand. There's glass shards inside her hand, kind of blood. Sorry, Spira, your microphone's on. Oh, hey, Cosmark. But anyways, so there's glass shards in her hand, and she's like, I need another drink. And she'll kind of stomp off to the bar.
I thought it
So
went pretty well.
you're kind of sitting in the middle of a crossroads of Chelsea and Annabelle leaving to greet another political figure, Kindred, and then Valerie, who is now infuriated.
Probably a little at me too, right?
It's difficult to tell unless you want to roll for it.
You know what? I'll try that. I'll try it.
Okay, go ahead and do a perception expression.
Perception. Oh, I'm gonna be terrible at this. On sevens.
Okay, there's a slight annoyance, not because you didn't help out by any means, but just your mere presence kind of annoys her.
Yeah, that's 7, right?
Yeah.
Well, I did my job for Shane. I helped.
Okay.
Is there anything else interesting going on?
Yeah, so there is like I said, gambling ring. There's a stage where some music is echoing around the chamber. There's an open bar. There seems to be other patrons that if you want to go bug them.
First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip off the little red tag thing I got, put it in my pocket.
Okay. Yeah, and then
Just happened, it slipped.
right. Okay, so going back over to Hiram. You have been gambling, losing more than your fair share of money than you expected to lose. You see Brian again in the middle of the crossroads as two parties seem to separate.
Does he see me rip off the tag?
Yes, he would probably, unless you did it stealthily, which you didn't declare. You were
Nope.
not being very subtle
I
about
just-
it. Yeah.
Popped it off, put it in my pocket.
So Hiram, what would you and O'Connell like to do in this party?
So, at some point during this this game, I'm probably going to text the only other person that I know at this party, because I assume, since we worked on a job together, I assume we had contact information.
Yes, of course.
And I am going to text him, I see they managed to get you to this shithole party too.
Yeah, pull that up. And text back, ah shit, which one are you?
The sexy one in red.
So fun fact, I did everything he just did. But, you know, apparently because he has a penis, it made it all better.
Yay, penises.
Like, he literally checked everything that I did. I was like, I just did that.
Alright, so that makes you a Digimon.
So, Brian, go ahead and roll alertness perception to see if you see a sexy woman in red.
Okay.
Strictly speaking, I never said woman. I said one.
Oh,
Yeah,
sexy
the
woman.
So
sexy
there
one
might
in
be a
red.
sexy dude in red around here too.
How often does your character do that? Has he ever seen your character?
You constantly see me in. I change faces like I change clothes.
I meant female, male. It doesn't matter.
Less often female, but it still happens.
Okay. Eh?
Yeah. Okay. So you notice a couple of people. You notice one that's kind of waving to you very coyly. She seems to have another compatriot with her, kind of wrapped in her arm.
My character's gonna laugh, and you're gonna get a text in all caps. Oh fuck. Then yeah, he'll walk over. So how much money did you make today?
O'Connell will laugh at that comment.
What? Really?
Someone didn't know how to bet his hand.
They aren't gonna be pros in here.
He didn't know how to bet his hand, and I lost like $70.
Only.
It's the principle of the matter.
Okay. All right. Well,
Basically,
that's why you got the brains.
Hiram sucks at the game. He was trying to flaunt his money or whatever, and
Obviously, it worked. How have you wrapped up in this? Like, oh, pardon me. Brian, how's it going?
O'Connell, and she'll take your hand and shake it.
So how do you know this guy? Oh, Miss. Whatever.
Hiram is a companion of mine. He owed a favor.
That.
He owed a favor
What?
for someone, and well, here we are.
That sounds like him. Or her. Whatever. God damn it.
How you know you love it?
Well, I just made my day today, so he just looks at the bar. Looks over at the bar. So this ain't so bad of a party after all.
Oh, what'd you get?
Pissed off someone. It wasn't me getting pissed off.
Why am I not surprised?
I don't know. Besides, getting kind of restless here in the city a little bit. So it seems kind of fun to be here.
Oh, I know that feeling.
All these tensions and everything, the little tags and everything. You get looks. Are you guys still wearing yours?
Yeah, haven't gotten around to taking it off.
I mean, it's points a freaking like sign on you.
O'Connell will look at her wristband and, are they tracking us? Wait, can they put it? And she starts to like study the wristband a little bit, trying to see if there's like any like computer chips or anything in there.
Oh shit!
I don't know. Can they put a computer chip in this?
Yeah, they could put in our God, what the hell are they called? RCIDs. Here, get that.
RFID.
RFID. Thank you. Yeah, they could put like an RFD in there.
No, it's just paper. She'll sigh and roll her eyes. Oh,
Yeah, he
God,
like
are you
brought his out and like started looking at it. Like, shit.
are you a crazy one?
What? No, they just can track you by seeing it. And he puts it back in his pocket.
And she'll give a heavy sigh. And as you two are conversing, you notice the prince walk down a curved stairwell. Everyone seems to acknowledge his presence and kind of give a slow clap. Thank you, thank you.
Damn them in their awe.
I look at Brian and roll my eyes when they start clapping.
Yeah, Brian was like looking towards you guys. It's probably behind him. He's just like, whatever. Who's that? Just kidding.
Yeah, as you two are, kind of rolling your eyes, you hear the sounds of footsteps behind you, Brian, and Valerie is with a very fanatic look on her face, like, come on, Brian, we gotta talk to the prince.
And he's like up the stairwell, right?
He's walking down, yeah.
I don't know him.
Come on, I need someone with me.
Oh, fuck me. What was it again, miss?
Are you
That's
saying that
Jessica's
to? Are you saying that to Valerie?
Zabani. No,
That's
Zabani. Would you like to join us too?
I will look at O'Connell.
Don't leave me.
O'Connell will kind of roll her eyes. Whatever. Just
Okay.
don't
Then-
fuck anything up.
Then I will offer my arm to Brian.
Nice.
And more not like as you are elegantly placing her arm around his, Valerie is more so tugging at your other to quickly hurry the pace towards the prince.
Oh, I'll take both of them.
Right.
Oh, big
And
pimpin'.
as you three approach the prince looks at all three of you. Hello. Yes. Your names?
Oh, don't mind me. I'm just. Yeah. And he presents Vala over. Don't mind me.
Right. And Valerie, like a kid, presenting a school speech, so to say. Gets a little bit stage fright and says, Your Highness, your princely, Mr. Velmuth, as you know, the drugs around the city have been increasing in activity and more deaths have been occurring, and I would really, really appreciate it if you would help fund my project that I'm studying, the after effects of the drug and possibly a cure, so that people that are addicted to this drug. And she keeps going on and on and on about this drug, and the prince places a hand up and, listen, Valerie, you've caught me at a very awkward time. And Valerie will be persistent, like, you don't understand, Prince. These kindred, they're very addicted to the drug, and if they're not treated, they will die. We've already had a death, and these kind don't know any better. They're mimicking our unlife, and they're just dying. Their hearts are completely stopping, and the prince, again, with his hand up, says, all right, Miss Wilcox, how about you meet me at my loft around 11 tomorrow night? And Valerie, with a very enlightened expression on her face, looks to you, Brian.
I give her a thumbs up.
Okay. Oh, okay. 11. Yes, 11. And the prince will say, good, I will see the three of you. I work it amongst yourselves. I'll see you at 11. And he'll kind of walk off with, some importance to him.
Shit.
And Valerie very tightly squeezes your hand like an excited child, like, oh my God. Oh, Brian, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And Jessica, was it? Thank you for being here. How do you know Brian?
We worked together 6 months ago, I believe.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Oh, so you're a hacker like him.
I work a different area, but same basic concept.
Yes.
God, I hope you had a drink in your hand too.
And as the banquet continues on into the late hours of the night, the lights around you that have been illuminating the main room begin to dim. Chelsea, you're with Annabelle, the three of you, Brian, Zabani, or Brian, Hiram, and Valerie. Nika, you would be entering the banquet again, alone, not with Griffin. And you would notice that your sire, Alexander, is by the bar.
I will trail my way over to him.
Okay. And yeah, as conversations around the hall slowly turn into light murmurs, the harmonious sounds of a violin echo throughout the room. As you all listen, it sounds as though its source has no point of origin. As the violinist continues his vibrato of high and low sounds, producing an eerie tune, the stage spotlight lights up the center of the stage. The red velvet curtains begin to draw back, and a caricature of a full moon is now visible hanging above the stage floor. You see all these party attendees slowly begin to migrate their way over towards the stage, and you guys are open to either watch the show or...
I think this is a perfect time to actually take a little break, and then we'll see what happens with the show. So yeah, as usual, we're gonna have one of our little mid-game breaks for a couple minutes or so. Anybody in chat, anyone who's watching the game, if you have any questions for the storyteller about his game, us as players, or about our characters, feel free to type those out, and we will answer them over the little break. And we'll be back shortly.
Beer delivery service.
What?
Wives are the best beer delivery service.
Oh, I
And they're
drink
pretty
wine
too.
to deliver wine. So, how are you guys all doing tonight? Hope you're having just as much fucking fun as we are.
Hoorah.
Revolver, how does it feel to be back in the boots of a storyteller?
dying slowly. It's good. It's just like at the same time juggling a lot of things, just because it's the first episode, so it's a lot of introductions as well as character development and things like that, trying to keep the pace up.
Grin,
well so far.
Fantastic. This is our very first episode. We are about an hour and a half in. So we're still relatively new into the game so far at this point.
Yeah, into this specific game, to be clear, we do have another game that has been running for a couple of weeks on Tuesday. That is it's an elder game that takes place in New Orleans.
To answer SCB's question, I am currently drinking a blackberry wine. It's by Chateau Morset. It's something my wife really likes to drink, and I didn't want to down a whole bottle myself tonight, so it was something I could split.
Wow, nice. Sounds pretentious.
It's like
$9.
$9 a bottle.
Yeah, but like any wine sounds pretentious because it's all French.
Yes.
And I'm drinking a real ale brand Commissar. It's a stout because, you know, if it's beer and I can't see through it, I like it. And I generally like to drink something new every time. Oh, okay, Grinch-tastic. Are you new to Vampire the Masquerade in general? Super Chocolate Bear, I am playing a Hiram, the con artist Nosferatu that changes faces as quickly as other people change clothes. He rolled well on his Mask of 1,000 Faces, so he's a lady for the night.
Yeah, I had Hiram roll a Mask of 1,000 Faces before the campaign because I knew that he was going to be doing it. I just didn't want him to do it like on the spot. So.
A Nosferatu right after Benedict's
to answer Nebshake's question of what inspired the characters for tonight, well, I can at least answer my own. So I'd actually sort of the groundwork for this character for a possible demon game. I developed this character for a possible demon game. At least Alexander being a violinist and kind of the eccentric violin type, and never got to use him, so it had this idea floating around. When Revolver came forth, I was like, well, this sounds like a wonderful opportunity to take a Toreador, age it another 100 years, and see what comes out of it.
As a side note, please tell me he was the first house.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So did he come from Georgia?
No, all that's the same. Yeah. Wait. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, yes. That.
Yeah. Nebshake, my character was inspired by the fact that I like doing voices. That's the whole story.
Just really quick, because it'll be a really quick statement. To Grinch, Elder is just simply a really old vampire. Yeah. It's separate from generation, because you could be a 5th generation, only be 2 years old as a vampire, not know what's going on. Elder talks about how long you've been a vampire, how influential you are, and how established you are.
Yeah, so I think Elvish plays our youngest character, and she's like 70, right? Yeah, so she plays our youngest character at like 70 years old.
I think Spira's our youngest then.
Yeah.
Not, of course, including the mage.
If you count...
You're muted again, Spira.
Huh?
Yep. Well,
if you count how old she was before she got embraced, then 70-ish.
Oh, okay.
Not 70 dead though.
Yeah. But yeah,
Also,
the other.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Spira, your mic is open when you like talk, and then it's weird.
Yeah, apparently it's only Discord, and I can't figure out why. So I'll just mute it if my character isn't going to be talking.
Yeah.
Yes, so for my inspiration, I thought it would be fun to actually play someone's child in a game. And me and Modi worked that out, so it did turn out to be that I made my character a Toreador as his child. The second we picked Tori, we both started leaning towards music, and I actually thought of violin, I think like just before he said it, so we both had characters that played violin, which plays well to the way Toreadors tend to pick their childer. And I love doing Russian accents, so I just decided she was gonna be Russian. I need to practice on it again. I haven't done it in a long time, so it slips here and there a bit, but I'll be better by next week.
But and a little bit more, I'm gonna say, like, the reason that I'm playing a con artist is because I've just always been interested in heist movies and that's really what the motivation came for, and the fact that I get to do voices is just a bonus.
Articus, I think you were gone when this question was asked, but we're asking what's the inspiration behind your character tonight, and Elvish, I don't think you've answered either. So if you two want to go real quick.
I really wanted to play an overly cheerful Malkavian. I thought it would be kind of fun. I also wanted to play one that was kind of up her own ass. I've just run across before a lot of I guess this is kind of making fun of some of my earlier characters when I first started writing characters back when, I was like 12. And they were all like these white knight defender of like the realm, like regardless of whether it was set in modern day, and so I basically took that and kind of ran with it. And her dementation is narcissistic personality disorder. She thinks she is the shit, and she thinks she is the shit in such a way as to be kind of this she thinks, let me just put it this way, her sire was obviously as nuts as she is, and wanted to preserve like good people to be immortal, right? So she thinks she is like the most amazing person ever, and like does volunteer work and like all that kind of stuff, but it's not necessarily to help other people as to like prove to herself continually that she is fucking awesome. So I thought that would be kind of fun to kind of put a twist on like that kind of character.
Let's see. I'd have to say my character is a mix of, if you took the guy from Watch Dogs, that video game, and mixed it with Murphy's Law. So the whole World War II bomber flyer kind of guy. Just kind of mixed that concept together and just had fun with it. And this is where I got the guy who kind of looks kind of pretty and has a voice like this. I like the contrast. Brian Evans is the guy's name. So.
Oh no, he's asking. I think the channel. Yes, the YouTube channel is the same.
I'm posting the link.
Yeah.
Guys,
we have. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna restart my Discord.
All right. We have our New Orleans by Night game, which has been going for a couple weeks, maybe like a month or so now. Maybe, I don't know. I'm bad at things like that.
No one's gonna hear you in 2 seconds.
Oh, your Discord? That's rude. I don't know why you would say that.
Okay, so you guys didn't hear me talking just there?
Yes. No, we didn't.
No,
good. All right. Maybe I fixed it then. Continue.
Okay, yeah, I was just saying, we have New Orleans by Night, which is like a month or so, maybe 2 months old. We have this brand new session. We have a full, I think, 8-10 sessions in Los Angeles as an Anarchs game, and we have our entire run of New York by Night, which will be coming back, but we're taking a bit of a break from it.
Whenever we wrap up New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we ready? Oh, no, we're not ready.
Oh, Mom disappeared. Oh, Mom's back.
We're all right. We're ready to jump back in.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So, as the banquet continues on into the late hours of the night, the lights around you that have been illuminating the main room begin to dim. Conversations around the hall slowly turn to light murmurs. The harmonious sounds of a violin echo throughout the room. And as you all listen, it sounds as though its source really has no point of origin. As the violinist continues his vibrato of highs and low sounds, producing an eerie tune, the stage spotlight lights up the center of the stage, the red velvet curtain begins to draw back, and a caricature of a full moon is now visible, hanging above the stage floor. And last I asked, you guys are joining the crowd, or are you guys going to sit back?
If Alexander doesn't already, start heading that way, I'm gonna put my arm around his and start walking closer.
Oh, absolutely. And the whole time we're walking over, Alexander will be whispering in your ear, critiquing like, oh, he was slightly flat there, and just, cannot let another violinist get away while critiquing the music.
We turned into little gossipy girls, just like, ugh.
All right, Brian and Hiram.
Brian's still freaked out that he got roped into seeing the goddamn prince. Did Val off, right?
Valerie's just kind of squeezing your hand, and as the music starts to play, she averts her attention over to the stage.
Okay, but she's still with us, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll watch. I'm not gonna actively go over unless the group that I'm with does, and I'll also be keeping my eye on O'Connell.
O'Connell just, again, she, like most women that appreciate shows and things like that, she's watching with intent interest, but won't actively drag you over to go watch it.
But generally speaking, I am going to be keeping my eye on O'Connell for the rest of the night in case she starts freaking out.
Okay. And Chelsea, Annabelle doesn't give you a choice. She drags you by the arm. She's like, "Oh, darling, the show is starting. Come on, we must go watch it. You'll love it, I swear." Okay. And she drags you to the middle of the crowd. And so, a disheveled-looking man playing a violin, wearing a tapered top hat with a tuxedo with loose threads and worn-out dress shoes, takes to the center stage. As he turns to face the audience before him, you see half of his grotesque facial features, the other half covered in a white porcelain mask, making you wonder if he's hiding something even more malformed underneath. The sounds of the violin pause. "Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, kindred and kind alike, to the Midnight Carnival." He has a very dry and cracking voice as it echoes. "Tonight we perform a special show for you all, one that defies the very laws of nature, a show that will shed tears and make you gasp in disbelief, a journey into the unknown where your greatest fears come to life. First, I introduce to you all two sisters, Sophia and Emma Marino, who come from a small village in Italy to perform for you all a tragic story about love lost. The Marino sisters, enjoy." The sounds of applause follow after, and two women take to the center stage. The ringmaster shuffles out of the center spotlight with his violin, and in his replacement, two younger women that look to be in their late teens, early 20s, take to the center stage. The two bow, the older sister styling her blonde hair in a French braid, wearing a black silk dress that exposes her slender figure, and a younger sister wearing a simple red leotard with light blonde hair in a ponytail. Two purple silk curtains with a hint of glitter begin to descend from above, stopping just before the tail of the curtains touch the stage floor. The younger Marino sister wraps one of the curtains around her arm and begins to ascend, waving at the audience while the curtains set into place. As the light bulb turns to a light pink hue, music begins to play, and the older sister begins her performance. Her hands placed on her abdomen, her beautiful voice sings out. An incredibly high pitch pierces throughout the concert hall, her range of tones going from high and lows as she sings a beautiful opera for her audience. Above her, the younger sister begins to contort and dance through the silk curtains effortlessly, matching the tones of her older sibling, telling a story of a girl dancing through the air, looking without a care in the world. She wraps one of the silks under her calf, having a tight grip between her legs, and with her now free hands begins to caress herself intimately. She then twists and turns, moving along the curtains, giving a couple of skilled flips that make some in the audience gasp that she might fall. Pausing for a brief moment, the dancer stops, looking ahead with lust. As the younger sister reaches out, wanting to touch what she's lusting for, below her the voice bellows low, as though she had just awoken a beast. The stage lights pink hue now turning into a dark blue. The dancer's face quickly warps into a petrified gaze, scrambling across the curtains to flee from whatever she had just woken up. As she does this, the curtains begin to wrap around her abdomen, her arms, her legs, and suddenly she begins to roll down along the curtains until she hits the stage floor below her. The older sister slowly walks to her now fallen sister without missing a single note, a single tune. She kneels down, caressing the cheek of her sister, and gives a big finale, a pitch higher than the highest pitch you've probably ever heard. The applause and the whistling erupts from the audience. You notice some tears from the kind around you in the audience, from those who understood Italian being sung or appreciate the opera. The older sister gives her younger a helping hand, and the two then bow to their audience and leave the stage. And as this happens, you notice that waitresses and waiters begin to circulate around the room with their trays and hand each individual a toasting glass. If you guys did not have a glass already, so you would see like the silver tray, and here you are, ma'am, here you are, sir. And
I have a quick question. Back when Mr. Showman said kind and kindred alike, I want to look around and see how the kind react to that particular sentence.
they seem to be very knowledgeable of what is going on around them.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no like shocked expressions or like, confusion in the audience. But Chelsea, as you are sitting with Annabelle giving a couple of crocodile tears to show that she's genuinely interested in said opera. One of the waitresses approaches you both, handing you both a toast glass. Whether or not you take yours, Annabelle gives a scoff like, I don't want this drudge. Jules, can you please grab me something more fine from the back? And Julie, not very talkative, more of a doer, kind of gives a curt nod and begins to run, kind of maneuvering herself through the crowd to the back of the open bar. So the ringmaster takes his place to the center stage once more. The Marino sisters, he shouts, waiting for the applause to stop. For our next performer, he is a man that faces death with a smile. The man who shows no fear. I present to you Arnold Priori, the fire serpent. The ringmaster gives a slight bow, and he quickly exits the stage. The sounds of beating drums and a rare Arabic clarinet begin to fill the silent hall. A large, shirtless, dark-skinned man skips to the stage. He has a shaved head, his facial hair quite long and braided in what looks to be almost ceremonial beads and other little trinkets that are in his beard. He is holding a small lit torch in one hand and a bottle of alcohol in the other, and with a big swig in his mouth, with the liquid, and he quickly spits into the torch's flame, unleashing a giant roar of fire above the audience. And I need all you kindred out there to roll a self-control.
Courage.
And that is just flat.
Yeah, courage. Excuse me, courage. Yeah.
You're sure it's not self-control?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Those successes.
One.
Immediately upon this whole event going on, Alexander's gonna click disgust at Nika, just like, really? A place like this?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Nika, not in full Toreador paralysis, but at the end of the actual opera and the singing performance, would have fingers by her mouth, just been really shocked, and then by the second act, just kind of been like,
Right. So as the fire inflames above the audience, Alexander, Nika, you kind of give a startled. Your body's a little tense, but nothing that you're too afraid of. Same with you, Hiram and Brian. Even though even though you guys are pretty far away, the sight of fire
that's a dick move.
kind of widens your eyes a little bit.
Also, really quick, after he says that, it's just, first thing I do is I'm gonna fire whoever hired them. Under his breath, for only Nika to hear.
Okay.
seems careless, he is.
Chelsea, on the other hand, you are terrified of what you just witnessed. Annabelle grips your arm tightly to, like, you know, not leave her side, but you actually just drop the stemmed glass that you were holding for the toast on the floor. It shatters, the liquids kind of spreading out on the floor. And you are just wide-eyed and terrified like a scared bunny.
Oh god, oh god! What do we have fire here?
It's okay, Chelsea. It's okay. I'm here. You know, you'll be fine.
Yeah, yep.
And then she'll kind of, wait, we need another glass, please, and clean this up. Thank you. So, as the fire, and you all actually seem to notice the kindred within the crowd, they begin to panic at the sight of fire as well. Some even going as far as scurrying far, far back away from the stage itself. As the fire dissipates, the performer laughs, gives a very big smile from ear to ear, holding his arms open wide as though he were taunting a deadly beast before him. He then takes the torch and raises it above his head. He tips his head back, and opening his mouth wide, he slowly lowers the torch down his throat, engulfing the flame itself. And after a minute or so, he removes the now unlit torch. The kind in the audience giving applause for such an unbelievable feat, while the kindred in the audience giving a couple of scowls, even frightful looks. The large man bows, and behind him, a young boy runs to the stage with 2 scimitars in hand. The performer hands the unlit torch to the young stagehand, and in return is handed the 2 blades. Pouring the remainder of the alcohol into sharp swords, he throws the empty bottle to the side of the stage, and with 2 powerful swings downward, both the blades ignite. Sounds of awe fill the audience, while, you know, a bit of terror as well. Arnold walks to the perimeter of the stage, looking at the audience before him with a disgruntled face. He shouts a deep war cry, "Ah!" and quickly moves back to the center of the stage, and the light coloring the man now in a dark red hue. The performer swings the blades wildly, looking as though he were but a centimeter away from actually cutting and serrating his own flesh. Go ahead and do a perception check for all of you that are in the actual crowd.
Alertness or awareness?
Alertness. Yeah.
I put Brian in between myself and the stage.
I got
This is hilarious.
3 successes.
Oh, perception alertness?
You said...
Yeah, perception alertness.
I'm too busy trying not to freak out. I'm gonna not roll.
Yeah, you're kind of terrified, just
3.
standing in place.
2.
Okay, so the majority of you, those that are not terrified, you notice that as he's doing this, you notice that members in the audience act as though they're entranced, like a cobra being seduced by a snake charmer. And as this is happening, Annabelle does turn to Chelsea, and she looks around for Julie and notices, like, Chelsea, dear, I know you're not too particularly fond of this. Do you mind running and going to see where Julie is with my drink? She's so incompetent, I swear.
Yes, yep, I'm going to do that, yep.
Yeah, without even asking a second time, you step away from the audience. You have to, maneuver yourself a little bit, but all in all, you get to the outside of the outer ring of the crowd, and you know that Julie is currently in the back trying to make her mistress a drink.
I guess I go looking for her.
Okay, so going to the open bar, you ask the bartender if she's seen, kind of describe her facial features. She went in the back. So you go back and you see, caskets of alcohol and various wine bottles, and you do see Julie. As you open and swing the door, she has a goblet in her hand, and she almost spills it. She kind of places one hand in front of the goblet, like, oh God. Oh.
You okay?
Oh, yeah. I was just having trouble finding what the mistress wanted.
Can I help you with that?
No. It's okay. I got it.
Okay. You're heading back out to her now?
Yes. Yeah. I'll be heading over towards Annabelle.
Okay. I'm gonna chill back here for a minute, if that's okay.
Yeah, do what you want. Bye. And she'll kind of skip along to the crowd again. So, as the giant man Arnold begins to tap his large foot against the center stage, going in tandem with the drum beats, and for the finale, throws the two flaming scimitars in the air, spinning in full rotation, kneeling down, and bows his head with his arms extended wide, and with a show of expertise and skill, catches both of the blades by the hilt. The large man stands, and just as he ignited the flames, he gives two more powerful swings downward, and the blaze dows, returning to their normal state. Again, applause and whistling from the kind erupt from the audience. While the kind enjoy the manipulation of fire, the kindred seem very apprehensive and even scowling, but some applause all the same. Yeah, some applause all the same. So, and once more, the ringmaster takes to the center stage. "The fire servant," he shouts, waiting for the applause to stop. "For our last performance of the evening, he's a man beyond your wildest dreams, a rogue with the silver tongue, Aaron Dubois, the Hypnotist." The ringmaster walks off the stage once more, and in his place, a beautiful, slender, blonde man in what looks to be an adult magician Halloween costume takes to the stage. "Thank you, everyone. Before we begin, I would like to raise a toast to our maiden we've come to honor tonight, Annabelle Beauvoir." And applause erupt from the stage, and the spotlight actually centers down on Annabelle, and, with a bit of feigning, she's like, "Me? Oh, me? Oh, thank you so much." And she makes her way now to the stage. You see Julie arriving just in time with her goblet. She's like, "You're so incompetent, I swear to God, when this is over, you and I are going to have a long time. Thank you so much." And she then takes to the stage, walking up, the hypnotist extending a hand to help her up. And so everyone kind of gives a synonymous cheers as people drink and applaud. Annabelle taking a drink of her blood wine shortly after, speaking an inaudible, "Thank you so much, thank you. And now, if you will please take a seat, Madame Beauvoir, I shall hypnotize you." As he kind of raises his hands in front of Annabelle's face and begins to wave his fingers mockingly, receiving a slight laughter from the audience. The same stagehand who had helped the flame dancer before comes out again with a wooden stool and places it before the harpy. With a bashful expression and looking very coy, Annabelle laughs and sits down on the stool like, "Oh my, I don't know if I'm ready to be hypnotized." Kind of giving very playful facial expressions. And Aaron, the hypnotist, places his fingertips along her shoulder and slides it from shoulder to shoulder. And with some showmanship, he bends down to her eye level, stares her in the eyes. "Now, Madame Beauvoir, when I count to 3, you will be under my control. Are you ready?" Annabelle gives a hesitant nod, and I would actually need one more alertness perception from all the kindred in the audience.
Another alertness plus perception?
Yes.
Just one.
No successes, but not a botch.
Okay, so Nika and Brian, you notice a little bit of a wince of pain on Annabelle's expression, like there's something that's troubling her or hurting her. And as the hypnotist counts, 1, 2, 3. Annabelle begins to vomit violently, blood spewing onto the young man's face. He quickly places his hands on his face and gives a cry, "Ah!" That's both disgusted and full of pain. Annabelle knocks the stool over and takes to the floor, placing her hands on her stomach as more blood begins to expunge out. The audience shrieking and gasping as they run far away from the stage, the ringmaster quickly running out to aid the harpy on the stage floor. What are you guys doing?
Very first fucking thing is I'm going to bludgeon my way through every thought that hypnotist has.
Okay. He is human, so you don't have to spend a willpower. Or I'm sorry, yeah, a willpower, but I will need you to First off, I need you to roll a strength and we'll say athletics to kind of hold your ground as the audience is pushing past you and you need to concentrate on the telepathy.
Fair enough.
I'm running like a little bitch.
No, I am a weak little ass bitch.
As you try to concentrate on this individual, his hands and his face, groaning in pain, people, kind, kindred alike, they seem to bump into your shoulders, this like a ping pong ball, and Nika even losing balance at this point.
Yeah, I'm going to be, as best I can, trying to get to a point I can see the part of the crowd that was most affected, like obviously probably closer and saw it in more detail, and I am going to try to awe as many people as I can.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Yeah.
What is it?
Standard difficulty.
Perception and empathy. Or no, yeah. Standard
Charisma
difficulty.
Performance.
Yes,
Charisma
yeah, that one.
performance.
Sorry, I was reading the wrong one.
You're fine.
Yeah, I'm with the crowd. I'm running with the crowd, following the herd mentality. It's great.
Okay, Chelsea, what are you doing?
I didn't realize anything went on. I'm still in the back hiding.
Okay, yeah, you hear, the shouts
Ooh,
of high-pitched
no.
screaming, as well as a ruckus going on outside the door.
Not so much.
Yeah, you are, again, they're just so terrified of what they had just witnessed that they are making a beeline straight towards the exit. And Brian, what are you doing?
Oh, wait, this is not part of the performance.
Valerie, with a very shocking expression on her face, hands above her mouth like, oh my god. And you notice that Jessica is not to your side anymore.
I guess you just kind of stay there. He might just pull out his phone and just like snap and then put it back down.
Okay. So as you all are trying to persuade, to read minds, running, in this case, Chelsea, you're still hiding. You hear a very deep shout. Cover the doors! Don't let anyone leave! And you see Peter kind of ordering these ghouls and shovelheads around, slowly blocking the exit, making sure that no one leaves this concert hall until given permission. You see the prince, Valerie. They are looking shocked with a mixture of anger. Shovelheads is actually a slang term for ghouls. They're like mindless, Right?
That's more
shovelheads. Yeah, shovelheads is a term for mass-embraced people, often actually hit with a shovel and made mentally like.
Oh,
it's a Savant
limited.
thing.
Then not
100%,
shovelheads.
Yeah.
I thought shovelheads was ghouls. My bad.
Ghoul is actually almost more the slang thing. You can call them retainers or regnants is the fancier terms. Most people just call them ghouls though.
Okay, so then just ghouls. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Ghouls
Also,
are-
Also, when I run, as a side note, I'm pulling off the red band and hiding it in my hand.
Okay. So yeah, you noticed that you were riding with the wave of crowds trying to leave the concert hall. They slowly begin to stop as there are now ghouls as well as Sybil in front of the stage, or in front of the exit, making sure that no one leaves. And after minutes of this aberrant sight, Animal Bavar lays lifeless on the floor, her skin slowly shriveling, her hair graying with rapid age, her teeth beginning to protrude past her lips as she begins to return to her normal mortal age. And with the chaos now contained for the time being, you notice the prince run to the stage, look down at Annabelle and give a very swift glance around the room, looking for anyone that may look suspicious or may looking like something to hide. And yeah, what are you guys gonna be doing?
What has happened to the hypnotist and the ring master at this point?
The ringmaster is still by the stage. He's hovering over Annabelle's body, not really sure what to do at this point. Just like, okay, if you need anything, just let me know. I'll go run and grab it. The hypnotist, on the other hand, he looks to be in excruciating amount of pain. He is to his knees, holding his face. And go ahead and do a alertness perception for me.
I am moving among the crowd, listening to the rumors and the speaking that is happening.
3 successes for me.
All right, Zabani, go ahead and roll a perception perception alertness as well. Difficulty 6. So, Alexander, you notice that the pool of blood around Annabelle, as well as the hypnotist face, there's a little bit of steam coming out, and even the blood is boiling around her.
Two.
Okay. You are very perceptive around the conversations. You're able to isolate some of the mutterings that are going on around you. However, nothing of interest really, or damning or incriminating.
All right.
Just very, what happened? Oh my God, I can't, is this part of the show? I don't believe, are all kindred this way? Yeah, go ahead, Brian. What do you?
Time to leave.
Okay, you're leaving out the front door?
No, where's the kitchen?
There is actually not a kitchen. It is a concert hall. Yeah,
No,
it's
they
just
don't have
the
a kitchen
open
there.
bar. It's an open bar and then drapes of
Where's
light where
the-
they're hiding.
Employees only door.
Go ahead and roll a perception alertness.
I will do that.
As he's rolling, since my attempt to mass console people with all didn't work out, I'm just gonna try to focus on anyone in front of me I can kind of maybe grab and calm down. If I have to do it one by one, I'll just try to calm a few people down to keep things in better order.
Okay, go ahead and do another charisma empathy.
Okay.
5 successes with 3 dice.
Nice.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you definitely notice the employee entrance. However, it is being guarded by one of the ghouls.
Nika is bad with rolling.
Shit.
You managed to calm some individuals down. I'll say you calmed down about 2 or 3 patrons, hey, calm down, it's okay. And they do still make their way towards the exit because they want to leave as quickly as possible. However, they're not in a frenzy like a lot of other people are.
The princess is under control.
And you see now Peter taking to the center stage. All right, everyone, listen up. I'll need to interrogate the lot of you. So please, you will not be leaving this concert hall unless I give you the authority to do so.
What time is it?
It's about midnight at this point.
Okay, so we got time.
Chelsea will
Yeah.
kind of peek her head out of the thing at this point after hearing the cries. It's what the hell?
Yeah, you notice the center stage, or the stage where the concert or the show was, is now completely vacant. You do notice Annabelle on the center stage, or kind of a shriveled version of herself with blood on the ground. There's the prince and the sheriff taking to the center stage, kind of directing people where to go. Okay, go ahead, Brian.
I'm slowly shifting to that door. It was successful earlier. It might be successful now. I'm going to wait for an opportunity that the ghoul's distracted, maybe looking the wrong way.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I'll let you know when that happens.
Yep. I'm especially don't like this situation.
Okay. So as you see Peter, he's pointing you over there, and those with red wristbands, please go over to the bar, if you would be so kind.
So I am relatively aware at this point with a decent number of successes. Do I notice Brian edging towards the employee exit? And
I love a red band.
do I notice Brian edging towards the employee exit?
Go ahead and roll alertness perception. And if you're trying to be sneaky about this, Brian, go ahead
I
and
am,
roll
but
a
I'll probably suck at it.
wits and subterfuge.
Wits and subterfuge, not stealth.
Or yeah, so Excuse me.
Just make sure.
I got 5 successes to be alert.
No.
No. Yeah. As stealthy as you are actually hiding from a lot of, prying eyes.
Oh, I know.
However,
I'm just
Alexander
against
does
the
notice
wall
you.
trying to.
Yeah.
And just having been mingling the night, do I recognize Brian? Do I recognize whoever he showed up with, or anything along those lines?
He is a kindred within the city. You may have heard of his name, however, not his appearance. Like, he is very well known in the underground kind of aspect of the kindred world. However, you wouldn't have a face to put with the name.
I wouldn't have a face?
Yeah, you would know him by name, but you have never met him
If somebody
personally.
goes, oh, that was Brian, it'd be like, that's who that fucker is.
Yes.
But just over the course of the night, have I seen him with another individual there?
I mean, it's kind of hard to discern because you weren't really paying attention to him. However, you would notice that he did have, a kind of squirrely, mousy girl next to him who is not present.
Noted. And I'm not going to say anything about him exiting.
Okay. All right, so as Peter quickly takes control of the situation, you see about 24 of Kine, as well as probably a dozen kindred. They seem to be separated now. Zabani, I am actually going to need you to roll a wits and stealth. Difficulty 6.
Wits, stealth. I'm not awful at that. You said difficulty 7?
6.
Cool. 3 successes.
Okay. So as you are surfing with the crowd yet again within the kindred, you don't see O'Connell anymore. You've completely ditched her. You see Sybil looking in the crowd, and she actually makes eye contact with you.
Does she approach me?
She seems to be studying your face as though, kind of taking a double look, is that who I think it is? And go ahead and roll me another one, but difficulty 7.
That obvious red dress.
Uh, 3 successes again. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, she recognizes you almost immediately, and
Alright.
she'll point to you "Where's your red band?"
I'll start walking over towards the red banders, I suppose.
And she looks very, very annoyed with you as you are trying to escape.
I guess when I go over to her, I'll pull out my red band. I was trying to get information about the crowd, thank you. Or rather, from the crowd.
Go ahead and do a charisma subterfuge.
Three.
Okay. She gives you a kind of sarcastic smile, well, leave it to me and Peter, and I thank you for your service, but please go over to where the other kindred are.
I suppose.
And you see O'Connell, cross-armed, kind of tapping her foot, looking very angry at you. As you walk over, she's like, what the fuck was that? You just left me!
The crowd doesn't seem to know anything, I guess.
Yeah, but you just left me! What if
There was
something
fire.
something actually happened?
There was
How would you
fire.
explain that to Benedict?
There was fire, alright? I panicked.
Ah, you're such a coward.
I resemble that remark.
And all right, Brian. So you don't really see an open opportunity. The ghoul in front of the door seems very resilient. He's very taken to his station. However, if you want to try to make a distraction or try to sneak through, I'll allow you to do that.
Okay. I'm also let's see. I've been I pulled out my phone and I'm starting to try to play with it because I assume they haven't like jammed communications or anything like that, right?
No, cell phone services.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna get that image off to my own computer using a little bit of VPN technology, just because I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'd rather keep that leverage away from here. And gosh, I have some contacts and stuff, but I don't think that it handles this situation. Are there any cameras or anything in this place?
Not that you've seen.
Good, because I would have been paranoid enough to try to look for those. Distraction, huh? I'll think about that. I'll think about it if he's being really resilient. I'm just going to keep next to that door as much as I can because I assume it's not awkward that I'm there, just leaning against the wall and just kind of chilling.
Yeah. I mean, he's very studious. You know, like he's doing his job. He's not like slacking off or anything. But I am gonna need you to do another wits and stealth.
Absolutely. Two.
If you want to explode it, you can.
2.
Okay. Yeah, you seem to be hidden. No one seems to notice you. However, you do see that Sybil, as she's counting heads, realizes that you're not there and begins to look around.
Just gonna kind of lean away.
Okay, and you see Sybil approach Chelsea. Where is Shane, the one you were with?
Shane?
Yes, the man you were with.
Really, Brian?
His invitation said Shane.
I did not know that.
I'm gonna see if the best thing I can do. The best thing I think I can do is try to see if I can get some sort of script going to see if I can just make like cell phones go off or something like that. It's the best thing I can think of.
All right, intelligence, technology.
Absolutely.
What happened?
There was a accident, or incident, I should say. But just stay here. Peter will be with you shortly. I need to find that man that you were with. 3. Okay. What do you want to do?
So probably see if I can do some sort of script to cause the cell phone tower, to ping off as if phone calls are coming in.
You hear
probably difficult. Probably pretty difficult.
Yeah, you hear some ringtones. Others, phones are vibrating in their pockets or purses. But you do hear a number of, standard cell phone rings, maybe even 1 or 2 popular songs at the time that are ringtones instead.
Does that distract the ghoul at all?
He seems to look around. Let me actually roll something for him.
Sure.
It does not.
So I was like, click it. I start edging and I went, shit. And just lean back. Like,
Okay.
That didn't work at all.
All right, 1 more stealth and...
Yeah, by just catch me for just making...
Okay, so you're kind of, wow, fuck. And
yeah, just
Sybil,
probably, well, fuck.
Yeah, so Sybil walking, she sees you in a very shaded area, like points at you and tells you to come over here.
Fuck. Yeah, I walk over.
And as you pass her, she says, "Where's your red wristband?"
Pulls it out of the pocket. It ripped. You said don't bug you.
Go ahead and make a charisma and subterfuge.
Absolutely. Charisma, subterfuge. Oh, I don't have subterfuge. I don't have subterfuge. Fuck.
So charisma.
I suck at this lying thing. 1.
Okay. She seems to not really care. Yeah, she's just right. It ripped. Just get over there.
Yeah, just defeated. Damn it.
Okay. So, fast forwarding into the night where we originally began in the interrogation room with Peter. One by one, you guys are being interrogated by Peter and another ghoul that seems to be hanging around Peter. Now, I need to know how truthful you all are going to be about your night. If you're going to, absolve anything, try to hide any truths from him. We'll start with Alexander.
I mean, I've done absolutely nothing worth hiding this entire night, other than if they press on what happened between me and the prince in private, I'm gonna tell him politely to go fuck himself and go check with the prince if he wants to know those details.
Okay, roll a charisma and empathy.
Two successes.
He will disregard the matter and say that, what discussions between you and the prince are yours. They don't need to be absolved here. Nika, as you are pulled into this interrogation room, you're going to be truthful or try to hide anything?
I don't think I even have much I could really hide, so I'm gonna be truthful, but kind of a little ditzy +1. My sire brought me here.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll empathy, charisma.
Two.
All right. Yeah, he seems to be jotting down notes, taking some important facts, and you are left. You leave the interrogation room, see Alexander, as well as the other kindred who are kind of lining up. Some went before you, and they seem to be funneling out of the room. And I forgot to note that before you and Alexander left, Peter carefully and in an intimidating fashion says, I trust you know this by now, but please do not leave the city until this investigation has been resolved.
I wouldn't think of it, Peter. You can trust me.
I have far too much business here that it's not like I was going to leave anyways.
Good. Perfect. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for your cooperation.
Of course.
Next! And Hiram, as Jessica, you begin to saunter in. Again, how truthful are you going to be?
I will not be breaking character. But otherwise, aside from the fact that I ran like a little bitch because I'm a coward, I have nothing to lie about.
Okay. And as he begins to question you, he puts both elbows on the table in front of you guys, and he leans over and says, "Who are you? You're not Benedict, obviously, and if you're a friend of Benedict's, well, I would like to know."
Oh yes, I came in his stead. As you know, he doesn't particularly like functions like this, so I'm relatively new to town.
Yes, your name?
Nah, it's Hiram.
Hiram. Well, Hiram, where are you staying in the city since you are new here?
I'm currently at insert hotel here.
Yes, the seedy one, right? Run down a little bit.
I think that it just needs some work, but I suppose to each their own.
Well, thank you, Hiram. Do you tell him that you're part of the Nosferatu?
I don't go out of my way to tell him. If he asks my clan, I'm not gonna specifically hide it.
Okay. So you'll say if he does ask.
Oh yes, I'm Nosferatu. Can't you tell by my face?
He'll drop his head a little bit, not really smiling, but giving you a very stern look.
Oh, don't worry,
Well,
I'm smiling enough.
Says, well, Hiram, I hope you know that any actions that you take within the city, Benedict will be held accountable for your actions. So if you are not against it, I would like to reconvene with you in the Undercommons.
I suppose.
Great. Well, if you have any more information for me, you can
No,
call me. And
the crowd wasn't particularly helpful.
well, I thank you for your much little assistance. And I think it's self-explanatory. You are not to leave Philadelphia until the time being, until this investigation is resolved. If you are to leave, there will be a blood hunt on your head.
Oh, of course, I just got here. I wouldn't leave.
Perfect. Thank you. Next! And as you leave, Chelsea, you are walking into this room now. You may be a little saddened now that your close friend is now dead. Final experience, final death.
Very visibly upset. Like, trying not to cry, but there's definitely red in her eyes.
Right, and there is a very intimate, still silence in the air as Peter lets you mourn for your friend, and he even gives his condolences as, I'm sorry for your loss. I know you and Annabelle were close in your earlier years.
Yeah, we were in Florida together for a while.
Yes, well, if you don't mind, I need to ask you some questions about tonight. Your whereabouts, your ongoings.
Yeah, we were watching the show and the fire was a bit much for me, so she sent me to go looking for her assistant who was getting her a new drink. It's a way of kind of letting me leave the performance. And I stayed back there. I missed the whole thing. Maybe I could have helped.
He'll nod, and as you mentioned the assistant, he lifts his head up. You were looking for Julie. She didn't take the glass the waitresses offered?
No. Annabelle specifically said she didn't want it, and asked Julie to go get her something different.
I see. And he writes that down. If you were to look, you can actually see Julie. Julie Marks written in all capitals with a line underneath her name. And when you found Julie...
She was, she'd been distressed a little. You know how Annabelle gets when she's at events, kind of runs people ragged a little bit. But I didn't see anything wrong with her. She didn't seem suspicious, just doing her job, you know?
Yes, and I know this is a difficult question to ask, but I know you two have been estranged for some years. Can you think of any enemies that Annabelle may have acquired over her years in Philadelphia?
I haven't been here that long. With all due respect, I don't know anybody that comes to mind.
Okay, well, I know this is a very difficult time for you, Chelsea, but if you learn of anything else, here's my card. You can contact me here, and I trust you know not to leave the city until this investigation has been concluded.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chelsea. Next! And as you walk out of the room, very sullen look on your face, Whether it's genuine or playing appearances, I'll leave that to your discretion. Brian, you are walking in.
Fuck.
He begins to question you about your night. How truthful are you going to be?
I'm just gonna do yes and no questions. Actually, I have some questions for him.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. So he says, let us recount your events for the night. Who are you here with?
I was here with Chell.
Chelsea Davis.
Yeah, probably that's her.
Okay, and you weren't here with anyone else?
No, didn't come with anyone else. Invitation was a +1, right?
Yes, but Sybil informs me that you had your own invitation, and this is for Shane. Is your name Shane?
Nope.
And your name would be?
Brian. So, I had a question.
Brian. That's a very odd name.
Oh, you were asking for a last name?
Yes.
Evans. I'm gonna find it out anyway.
Brian Evans, I think I know that name.
Shit.
You run some schemes from time to time. Harmless, but noticeable.
Bitcoining.
Yes, Shane. I know the one now. Thank you. And he'll begin to write your name down and circle it.
Shane, me, Brian.
Brian. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Brian Evans circles it.
Right. So, what was all tricks of the fire and everything? Was that a part of the act?
I was not organizing the show. Unfortunately, that was all Miss Annabelle Guevara, and she is now, well,
Right.
Now, if you don't mind, we recounted your nights. Were you speaking with anyone else besides Miss Davis?
Oh, yeah, sure. Talked to the prince, unfortunately.
Talking to the prince right now. Oh.
No, that's the sheriff.
The sheriff. Yeah, he's speaking with Peter. Spoke with the prince. May I inquire what about?
Yeah, absolutely. It was all Val talking about her project.
Valerie Wilcox.
Yep.
You said you didn't speak with anyone else or arrive here with anyone.
Oh, sure. I've talked to plenty of people.
Well, I would be much obliged if you would recount your statement more thoroughly so that I can leave.
Let's see. Who did I talk to? I talked to Sybil twice. She didn't appreciate my band missing.
Yes, she
asked not to talk to her again, so you know.
She did express her distaste for you.
Yeah, I get that impression.
And why were you trying to hide from when we organized everyone?
Oh, well, to avoid this awkward conversation.
You find our conversation awkward?
Sure, why not?
Well, I would
You know the dealings I
inclined
deal
to
with,
know
right?
as why.
Bitcoining.
Well,
Kind
as
of a
far as
market that. Sorry, go ahead.
as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoining is not illegal.
No, not at all. But you know, when you get into kind of my area where everyone's like dealing with what you're dealing with, it comes an easy finger to get pointed at. Sybil just assumed I was Shane. So, you know what? I was never here. See what I mean?
I think I have a general understanding of your demeanor, Mr. Evans.
Oh, absolutely. So, anyway, let's see.
That's quite enough, Mr. Evans. I'm much more interested in your relationship with Valerie.
My relationship.
Yes,
Mutual
how
friends
do you...
with Shane.
And why was Shane unable to attend tonight's festivities?
He didn't really give me a good reason.
Didn't give you a good
He
reason.
just doesn't like events.
I've been hearing that more often than not.
He's kind of doesn't like events at all, actually. Honestly, it was Val who tried to get him to go, and I think he, introverted out or something. I don't know. Made me go.
Right. So, correct me if I'm misunderstanding you, Mr. Evans. You are here on Valerie's behalf, working to do something with her her project dealing with the 2 narcotics that have been peddling around.
Yeah, she's the blood mage, so I was just there for moral support.
Right. Well, thank you, Mr. Evans, for your time. If you come across anything you wish to tell me, here's my card. And I hope I don't need to tell you this, but don't leave the city, please. If you do leave the city, there will be a blood hunt on your head until this investigation has concluded.
Loud and clear, boss man.
Pleasure. I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you. And he'll shout, "Next!" and you leave. All 5 of you have been thoroughly interrogated. Hiram, you have to wait a little bit for O'Connell. And Brian, if you chose to do so, you would have to wait for Valerie as well. But yeah, the 5 of you kind of standing about. All the kind seem to have been funneled out. Nothing really too pressing on them. They have been eliminated as suspects from what you can gather. And I'll leave the floor to you guys if you want to talk amongst one another.
I'm going to take Alex aside and just, what the hell happened?
I'm honestly not sure at this point. I mean, I'm sure he was asking you the same questions he was asking me, and there's nothing I had to give.
Have you seen anything like this before?
I mean, it vaguely reeks of something Tremere, but I don't want to necessarily jump to any sort of conclusions here.
That is what I was thinking as well.
But again, it is a little bit too fine of a clue, so I don't know. Like I said, she's been a harpy for 20 years, or she's been a harpy for 20 years. Who knows what this could all have been about, if whether this is targeting Velmonth himself or Annabelle or whatever. We'll have to see.
The position does bring ire.
Did you notice anything particular going on throughout the night? Fortunately, I was occupied for most of it, but...
I take a moment thinking and start to shake my head. No, but Griffin was acting strange. It could be anything. It could just have been something personal, but...
For Christ's sake, what exactly was Griffin doing?
Nothing. I don't know what was wrong with him. He wants me to meet him tomorrow night.
When?
He didn't give me a specific time. And I hold out my hand showing the phone number.
Don't tell me it's a date.
I don't think so. He's a sweet kid, but I don't think that was the purpose. He definitely seemed upset about something. I don't know, perhaps the fact that we're both younger toreadors in the city. Maybe he just wanted someone to talk to.
Well, I guess we'll figure out what that's all about tomorrow.
Yes.
Speaking of which, remind me before everything's said and done tonight, we do need to talk. Separate from this.
All right.
And so is it basically just the 5 of us kind of standing outside of the interrogation room at this point?
So it would be the 5 of you, maybe some of the Primogens that have decided to show up in the banquet as well as O'Connell now just leaving her time with Peter. Go ahead, Brian.
Brian is using Signal to constantly pester Hiram. To constantly pinging him and going, this is bullshit. I fucking want to get out of here. It's a security back to forth.
I will walk over to him.
Oh no, I know, but he's just like doing it on his phone because that's what he does.
You understand? I'm right here. Yes.
Yeah, but well, whatever. I didn't really say anything. Or I didn't say anything.
Well, I see your bracelet method worked quite nicely.
Yeah, stupid, really trained, cool.
It didn't work well for me either.
Yeah, you were gone. Didn't even notice you leave.
And as you say that, O'Connell steps behind him like, yeah, real balls this one has.
I was checking the crowd. Thank you very much.
You tried to mingle with the crowd.
They didn't have anything interesting to say.
Why didn't you just disappear?
She'll forcefully slam her hand purse on your chest, Hiram. Like, you're holding my stuff.
Fine.
While you guys are discussing, Brian, you particularly see Chelsea quite distraught, isolated on herself, kind of absorbing this moment of grief.
Talk to anybody? Yeah.
Oh, I would just make it worse. Hey, Jessica.
Pleasure to meet you. And I'll do the.
Did we go over there? Sorry.
Yeah.
I was trying to get you to go over there. It's like, you know how to talk to people.
I'll look at O'Connell.
O'Connell is... I'm going to the car. I'll be there. It's
Fine,
about
I'll
3 in
be
the
out
morning
in
at this
a
time.
moment. I'll be out in a moment. And then I will walk up to Chelsea. Are you quite all right, dear?
Yeah, no, she was, she was my friend at one point. I hadn't seen her for decades, and, that's...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thanks. Yep. Thank you. It just... It's hard when you have a friend for so long and you haven't talked to them and then they invite you here and then I wasn't even there. I was in the back with the drinks and I didn't even see you.
I doubt there's anything you could have done. All that can be done is we can figure out who did this and stop them, and I'll bring her into a hug and making sure skin does not touch skin because that's problematic for obfuscate.
She'll kind of cry into the hug a little bit. Yeah. She might maybe be trying not to get blood tears on your dress, but it's not entirely successful.
Yeah, it's a red dress.
Thank you.
Oh, of course. all we need to do is find out who did this, and she will get justice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we gotta do. Like, I don't even know if it was like a murder or an accident, or that the target was meant for someone else, or I don't know.
I'm sure the sheriff will figure something out.
Thank you. What's your name?
What was that?
What's your name?
Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. That was very kind of you.
Okay, well, as you two share this moment, Valerie is now leaving the interrogation, sees Brian, and looking quite annoyed, that her time has been wasted with such interrogations and thought of, like, going by the book, like standard procedure. And she goes, well, Brian, I'm out of here. Meet you at 10, or meet you at 11 at the prince's. Well, you were the one that decided to come. You could have said no.
I could have. Should have. Yeah. Good night.
Well, I'll pick you up. Where are you staying at? Some sleaze, some brothel somewhere?
No. Goddamn, I'll text you.
Can't wait. Bye, Brian. I wish I could say it was good seeing you, but, well.
Yeah, me too.
And she'll kind of stomp off.
Bitch.
Not so subtly.
No, that was
hear
not
the word bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that was not so that she could hear. Just
Okay.
bitch.
All right.
I'm not.
Except she had aspects up. Haha.
Yeah.
Well, then
she
maybe.
senses.
Bitch.
No, I'm kidding. No. But yeah, she just leaves. She doesn't pay any second glance towards you. And you now, Alexander, Nika, you see the prince kind of, I'm exhausted as he approaches you all, or you both.
I'll immediately approach him and put a hand on his shoulder, just like, Victor, how are you okay? Victor.
And everyone in the room notices that Alexander and the prince has some sort of relationship. You don't know what. And Victor, yes, I'm okay. It's just, when you've declared the Evernight in Philadelphia and then the kindred dies right before your eyes, it's a little disturbing.
I can only imagine the amount of grief and sorrow you must be feeling at the moment. It's just as you said, it's terrible.
Yes, I'm so sorry, Victor.
Yes, Annabelle was a good harpy. She was one of the best that the city had. We will be holding memorial services for her in a later date, but, with everything going as it did, I hope you at least enjoyed some of the festivities here.
Of course, Victor. But there are, I suppose there's more weighing issues at the moment. Is there anything Alexander and I can do?
Nika, you're such a darling. No, Alex and I do have a meeting tomorrow and we'll discuss it there, but you just continue your tutelage under Alexander.
Well, if you need anything from me, even just a personal concert or something, let me know.
Thank you. I will take you up on that offer.
Whoa, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I might still wish to charge for it.
He'll give not an audible laugh, but a, smile and bow his head. Yes, you wouldn't be the businessman you are if you didn't.
Regardless, I'm sure you have 1,000 things to see through tonight, but
Unfortunately, I was hoping to turn early in for the night, but with everything happening, I guess I'll be staying here a little longer.
Well, at least I can assure you that you'll have a relatively smooth day tomorrow.
Yes, let's hope. And he'll give you, again, the formal Italian kind of hug, pecks you on both sides of the cheeks. Same with Nika, will hug you and pecks you both sides of the cheeks. And he'll kind of eye everyone that is still in the room. He sees Chelsea very distraught with grief, as well as Jessica, who is consoling her, Brian, who seems to be standing a little isolated from the group. And smoking. And he'll kind of shake his head at the smoking gesture. And he'll continue to walk over to the interrogation room where Peter is.
I'm gonna walk like very close to Alexander, kind of with body language like, okay, I'm ready to go now.
Is Sybil, Peter, or anyone kind of around?
Sybil is in the room. She's still at the entrance, kind of overseeing the whole concert hall. Peter is in the interrogation room with the prince. The room you just left from.
I'm gonna go ahead and then approach her, and just kind of rest my hands and... Well, Sybil, this has been quite an astounding night, and I'm sure that you are simply terrified at everything that's happened. I mean, especially being essentially being someone as yourself. You must be feeling terrible about this.
She gives you a cocked head. Yeah, we're all terrified.
Don't worry, I haven't lost faith in you, but the night is getting light, and I should be getting on my way. That unless you and Peter have anything else that I need to see to tonight.
She'll flash a smile. No, well, thank you for your vote of confidence, and yeah, have a good night.
You too. And he'll go ahead and lead Nika out of the place.
She'll nod to you, Bo.
Alexander.
What'd you say?
A bit wordy, Alexander.
I like talking.
She'll nod to you both as you pass and exit to the street. Chelsea, Jessica, and Brian, you're still in the concert hall.
I was doing my best to listen to all that. I'm maybe a little nosy.
They're not trying to be subtle about the conversation in the least. So
Yeah.
have you ever heard
Oh, I'm paying
everything?
attention to everything right now. I'll go over to Jessica and Jel. It's new names I'm trying. It's not even his real name.
Don't worry, you'll have plenty more names to learn.
I think it's about time.
Yeah, you're right. I should go home.
Yeah, go get some rest.
Yeah.
Sorry for your loss.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
And him and I guess they came together. Him and Chell. Cruise.
Cool.
All right. So you two, are you driving your motorcycle?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go on a motorcycle. I'm sure you rev the engine obnoxiously loud to.
Oh, right by the building. Just went up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I will also go out to O'Connell. I cannot get in the habit of saying Sunshine because I've never heard that name before.
Isn't it the real name?
Yeah, she actually doesn't like people calling her Sunshine.
Yes, and I've never heard someone say that, so I can't get into the habit.
She let Deckard call her that because he was an insane junkie, and then Roland started using it often enough, she was like, fine.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I can't get into the habit of it because I've never heard her called that. So I've got to get in the habit of calling her O'Connell.
Yeah, and O'Connell is waiting in the backseat of a taxi. She looks kind of annoyed. Arms crossed, legs crossed.
I could have driven her. I do
Okay.
have a car.
Okay, yeah, however you two arranged. So she would, again, be sitting in the backseat of your car then.
All right.
And she's just looking out the window, ignoring you blatantly.
All right, I'll let her be quiet. I don't need to talk.
Okay. So as you all are returning to your havens for the night, Alexander, Nika, go ahead, start the night.
We probably will have been walking for a minute wherever we parked. I assume Nika would be driving him anyways. Whenever we get in the car, I'll just kind of stop and pat her hand kind of fatherly, just... So, Victor wants to make me his right-hand man.
What do you mean by that?
Seneschal of the city.
What?
I agree.
Alexander, do you want to do that?
Absolutely not. But how do you say no to a position like that?
True.
And I'm assuming he specifically has chosen me because I don't want more in the city. I'm not a threat to him. I don't want his position. That's the only reason I'm guessing he's extended it to me.
That would be a good reason to pick someone. Is this what your meeting is for tomorrow?
Exactly.
Nika just takes a little while digesting that as they drive. Doesn't seem to offer an opinion for a little while. But closer to Alex's residence, where she would be dropping him off before heading back to her apartment, she finally pulls off to the side and parks and sits there quietly for a moment. I agree. I think it could be a problem saying no. That I don't know what the trouble saying yes would bring.
Well, I might have to give you a bit more responsibility. I don't know how much time and effort I'll have for my own endeavors. It really remains to be fleshed out tomorrow.
I'm not worried about myself, Alexander.
I'm worried about me.
Yes, so am I.
I can't say no. You don't say no to something like this, Nika. So I'm going to say yes tomorrow, and once I find out his terms, we'll see from there, but... I don't know. I guess at the end of the day, I can do nothing less than make his life a living hell.
What are you talking about? That's a terrible idea.
No, it's a fantastic idea.
Oh, so then you get fired?
I mean, if only that wouldn't be quite so literal, yes.
Yes, exactly. You don't become seneschal and just get pardoned.
But no, he made it clear. I'm not saying no to this.
Well, I'll be meeting with Griffin, so I'll see what he has to say. You see what the prince has, and perhaps we meet later. Please,
and... Why do I always fear the worst when it comes to Griffin? I just naturally, gut instinct, I go to, he's caught up in this.
He reminds me of the Jack from all those old fairy tales, so he's getting in trouble and you never know what he's up to.
Let's just hope this time that he decided not to climb this beanstalk.
After, parking, I just give Alexander like kind of a quick sidecar hug and a kiss on the cheek, and then wave him off as he leaves.
All right. So after that, you two discuss about political power as well as a little bit of mystery with Griffin. That's where you two will end your night. And Brian, Chelsea, you are driving along the highway or streets of Philadelphia, wind blowing in your hair, kind of thing. You see the city. Yeah. You wear a helmet.
No, I said who wears a helmet.
Oh, who wears a helmet? Not
Yeah.
you. So you do see the lights of Philadelphia looking much like stars that just seem to glimmer and shine, and it seems like the city itself is alive as you're driving. And you make it to Chelsea's place.
Yeah, I was like, it's a very hard spot to actually talk to each other.
What?
What?
I'm really sad that she died.
Oh! Alright, yeah. Drop her off at her place. Where does Chell live?
Downtown. I super do not know Philadelphia at all.
Fancy
Hey, me
downtown?
neither.
No,
So it'd be like,
super fancy.
when I was looking at the geography of Philadelphia, downtown is more into the center city of Philadelphia. It's over by like the pier and other things like that.
Probably close to South Street.
Yeah.
You know the one place in Philly you've been.
Yeah,
I've been
there.
in a couple
Fine,
places.
that place. I have been there.
So yeah, you arrive in front of Chelsea's abode.
Thanks for coming. I know you didn't really want to go.
Yeah, it's alright. And besides, me not wanting to go doesn't even compare.
Thanks.
Yeah. Have a good night.
You too.
And he'll cruise from that because he's terrible at talking to people.
All right.
He's
So
trying.
yeah, you Chelsea, you can definitely see by his expression as well as his demeanor, he's very uncomfortable with personal affection. However, you see that he is trying to console you.
I appreciate it.
He drives off into the night. Chelsea, you step into your apartment. You want to describe your haven for us?
It's a small kind of place. Like you go up kind of a creaky set of stairs to a tiny like kitchen living room thing with like the old kind of wood floors. You know what I'm talking about? She has like a rug or two down, and then there's like a bedroom off to the side, and then like another bathroom. It's actually it's like a small full bathroom with just like kind of a standing shower and not like a full tub, you know. And so she kind of just she goes in, she makes sure the windows are all closed, kind of going about her routine, all the curtains and everything, and just kind of cries herself to sleep.
Before you do cry yourself to sleep, as sad as that is, as you are in front of like a mirror undressing from tonight's festivities and changing into whatever sleepwear that you wear, you hear a faint voice in your head, and it says, "Oh, you really overplayed it today."
Chelsea just kind of looks around, like she knows it's in her head, but she's still looking around anyway.
You really wore that to a banquet? Oh, darling, it's so drudged. It looks so bland. And that crying you did in front of the sheriff, so over the top. He saw right through you.
What? Who are you?
Oh, you're just not ready for that yet. And the voice stops.
Come back!
No response.
Fine.
So as you turn in for the night, that is Chelsea's night ended. Brian, you are making your way to your haven.
Yep. He does have headphones. He has earpieces that he puts in and listens to some music as he's gone.
Okay, and
Because
as you...
anything more dangerous than not having a helmet is listening to your music so you can't hear anything else.
Yeah, I mean, that's rational.
Yep.
So as you drive to your haven, turn off your motorcycle, put the bike lock on so that no one steals it, put on a cover, things like that to prevent it from rain.
He has a garage.
Okay, well, even then, I guess. You want to describe your haven to us?
Absolutely, it's the garage. So he has a couple places, kind of abodes or domains that he has, and this one particularly is a garage that he's turned kind of into a flat. Has a bunch of computers running constantly in the background that pay for the location and the electricity, so he just kind of stays there. Double or triple, quadruple reinforced with locks and no capabilities of letting light in, because that's the kind of paranoia he is. But overall, it's a garage. He's just rented a city's garage that he can just crash in.
Okay. So while you're in your garage, turning off your motorcycle, maybe undressing a little bit to not fit the formal attire so much, you do receive a phone call, and it is from Shane.
Hello? Excuse me. Hello?
Brian? Hey.
Shane?
Hey, man. I owe you a ton.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep.
How was
guess you heard
Valerie?
already. Wait, have you not heard?
No.
All right. Where to start with this? Yeah, so someone passed on.
Valerie?
No, she's fine.
You hear like a
no, yeah, I guess the context of that. No, Madam, oh gosh, what's her name?
Annabelle Boudoir.
Oh, no, he said that out loud, actually.
Oh, Annabelle?
Yeah, she kind of, yeah.
She died?
Truly did.
Oh, shit. Wow. Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, and, you got a certain somebody, you can guess what starts with an S, started, interrogating everybody, couldn't get out of the damn place. You got freaking, apparently, Val hooked me up with the prince to go meet tomorrow. You owe me a lot.
I know, thank you. I have business in New York right now, and
Yeah, you
I'll
might
make
want
it
to
up.
stay there for a minute.
Yes, I imagine so. Just, tell Valerie I'm sorry, and
She's
can't
happy
really talk
as
to her
can be for someone who witnessed something as bad as that, but is also now going to go talk to a prince tomorrow.
right now. Yeah, that sounds like Valerie.
So, I could probably spin it to that she owes me too. So, I guess it's all right.
Well, I'm thank you for tolerating her. I know you two aren't always on the best of terms, but trust me, Brian, what I'm doing in New York is going to change our lives for the better.
Uh-huh. What's that again?
And you hear a brief pause. I can't discuss it now. It's better in person.
Don't talk it over the phone.
Take care, Brian, and tell Valerie,
Yeah, I'll tell her good luck.
That's not what I mean, Brian, but...
I'm not going to be the one that says it. You can text her that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And with that, he'll hang up.
And... Fuck.
So, do you want to do anything before you turn in for the night?
Oh yeah. I'm definitely not gonna not burn the night hours that I have. He's gonna go on that computer and start digging into what the fuck happened and what did he just get himself into with this whole situation.
Okay. As you are looking, I won't even require a roll. Nothing appears. It's too soon.
Yeah. He's just checking the Kindred have an internet, don't they?
They have
Yes.
the
Camnet, which is like a general one that all Kindred can use. Shreknet is only specific to Nosferatu.
Yeah, he does.
But it's not impossible to hack. However, if they do find out, you're probably...
Oh, no. If he has access to StorytellerSpira, it's because someone gave it to him, and I don't think he does. Honestly, he's browsing through Camnet and any other dark web that has access to other Kindred information. There's probably a couple of those kind of things out there.
Okay, so go ahead and roll a investigation and intelligence. Or I'll say wits and intelligence. Or sorry, wits and investigation. There we go.
Sure thing.
Difficulty 6.
2.
Okay, as you're surfing the web, you may look at some things relating to Annabelle. You wouldn't really find anything, only that she's one of the few political powers that stayed in power after the coup, so to say. You learned that in the city, Victor Velmont staged a coup against the previous prince, who he felt was outdated and very old in his ways of dealing with political and territorial gains and things like that. So he staged a coup, he won, and everyone that was previously in the political power of Prince Yule was excommunicated or blood hunted or what have you. However, Annabelle was one of the few exceptions that was not.
All right. Anything I can start digging up on this new prince and the sheriff? We can use the same role if you want.
Yeah, so for the prince, you would learn that, he's very highly respected amongst his peers, as well as some kind that are familiar with the political statures of the Camarilla. And he has kept the city very safe from any Sabbat actions, as well as any hunting action, like hunters. Haven't really been any hunting accidents. The kindred deaths have virtually been 0, with the exception of tonight and the one kindred that did die from an unknown substance that he consumed, which is, his name is, let me get a name for you real quick.
But you can give me some of the downloads. He's going to start digging into this kind of thing.
Yeah, his name is Derek Malfort, and he was the assistant to Valerie, and both of them were studying the new phenomena of this drug, and he eventually died.
Okay. He's gonna keep digging. I can ping him, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay. Nothing crazy about the sheriff at all. Just he seems very, again, well respected. He seems to be a very straight-laced individual, very accepting of kindred, as well as you don't cross his path.
Yeah.
So that will be your night. Last but not least, Hiram, you are driving O'Connell home to the Undercommons where she resides. You would have to go through the sewers if you want to accompany her.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so it's about 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time you arrive, the two of you go down the manhole, traverse the sewers. It is quite the labyrinth, and you are now in this great opening, very well lit. See computers against the wall, an open like a bar top with various there you see like a kindred head in a jar. You see an old dusty photo as well as bottles that seem to be aged, like maybe even hundreds of years old. And you see Benedict, his feet are on top of a table. He seems to be leaning back in a chair, just kind of, he has a hat on the center of the table and throwing cards inside the hat.
Harry?
Oh, Hiram, how'd it go?
Well, someone died, so that's fun.
And he gives a glance over to you and continues to throw cards in a hat. You didn't cause it, did you?
No, not remotely.
Well, O'Connell, do you have fun? And you see her still very annoyed. Yeah, I had a blast. This guy ran on me when he smelled danger.
There was
fire.
This one has. There was fire, all right? You see these flaps of skin? They catch easily.
Benedict will... Yeah, Hiram never had balls to begin with. Guess that's why he goes as chicks sometimes.
Hey, I've seen you do it too.
With that answer, he kind of shuts up. And he'll stand up from the table and circle around the bar. He pulls out like a bottle, and then from a little fridge, he'll like pull out something. It's like, drink.
I will take.
All right, and he pours the liquids, like a very concoction-y based liquid, puts it in front of you. Well, thanks for that favor. You owed me one, but...
Hey, it's all right.
And cheers and swigs as, like, puts the glass face down, said, consider your debt paid.
Appreciate it.
And yeah, anything you want to do, or if you want to talk to Benedict a little bit more. It is almost sunrise, and notice of the time, he says, stay here if you like, but doesn't bother me any.
Here's a plan. I was intending on that. Didn't really feel like maybe catching the sun.
Well, bye. That room over there. See ya.
Appreciate it.
And O'Connell looks at you, slides the door, and Benedict goes back to just throwing cards in his hat.
After she slides the door, I'll do the kissy. Like
right.
not even if Benedict is looking, just.
Yeah.
He's got big ears. He can hear.
So as you make your way to the room Benedict generally pointed at, you come across like an old abandoned subway station. Think Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of hideout. You see slash marks on the wall, as well as even bite marks on where a bed used to be, and something ripped out with either a safe or a fridge of some kind.
I don't get why these people like living in the sewer. It's gross.
There's no answer for that.
No, I just say it out loud.
Okay. Yeah, so you are in this abandoned subway kind of makeshift home.
I will sleep there, it's better than sleeping in the sun.
As you sleep on the bed, you feel some of the springs poke out, kind of hit your back. It's very uncomfortable, very run-down mattress that you're sleeping on right now. You even see a couple of empty needles around the bed.
The fuck? Well, you know what? Doesn't matter.
All right, and that is where we will end our night. So,
All right. So I would like to thank Revolver C for starting us off on another amazing campaign. I had a fuck ton of fun. Yeah, so that will be the end of the first episode of The Price of Blood, our new VTM campaign. If you like VTM, definitely check us out tomorrow night at 9 p.m. EST, where we will be continuing our New Orleans by Night game, episode 12 or something, but it starts a new night, so if anyone here is new to the channel, you'll get to see the characters in a new setting. It won't be anything you necessarily missed. If you do want to check it out though, our YouTube link is below here. On Twitch you can catch the old episodes as well as episodes from our other series. We did a New York game, an Anarch game, Hunter, and forgetting something else, but anyway, lots of episodes there. We've been doing this for about a year and a half. Yeah, so thank you to everybody who comes out and watches us live. Thank you to everybody that watches us on YouTube. Like and subscribe, you know that whole deal. And on Fridays we have a D&D campaign that was on a bit of a hiatus but is back now and should be much more regular. So if you like D&D as well, check that out. That's Fridays at about 9:30 p.m. EST. We also have a link for my Twitter, so I always post about games there, and our Discord. Our Discord also has links for game announcements, and just plenty of channels to chat with fellow tabletop RPG fans. We talk a lot about World of Darkness, D&D, and everything else under the sun. So totally join us there. And I think that about wraps it up. I said that all very fast. Yeah, so thanks to everybody who came out, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.